now using the ult to zone T1 off, and they're going in.
Coming in, big damage. That's gonna... That ball coming out, they're taking their time. Owner now going through over the wall, but Damwon Kia, they're just too far ahead. T1, yes, they're using abilities, they're throwing skills back, but curtain calls coming out, and T1 are running out of time.
Yeah, Sowmaker's gonna base and TP back here. The shock blasts are coming in and it's poking them down a little bit, but with Sowmaker full HP, buying items and coming back, they should be able to force this top inhibitor. If this falls, I think that's it for T1. They're gonna have to try and fight this, otherwise they're gonna lose out on every objective on the map.
3 inhibitors down. That is a death sentence. T1. They're going to go out fighting, or they're going to get bled out. Damwon Kia, they're going in. Gobushi going down. Cant forced to back away, carrying it. Faker just getting torn apart. It's all too easy for Damwon Kia. Early game close and contested, but mid to late, Damwon Kia in absolute control here in game 1. Going to take them a bit of time to kill the Nexus, but they will find first blood in this best of 5 series.
T1 just wasn't able to create the same kind of early advantages that got them into those winning situations in the finals. They weren't able to get ahead, and some of it does feel like it's through the draft. Yes, Owner has this good pick of the Poppy as an answer to the Lee Sin, but you're kind of the more defensive side of that matchup. You want to be answering the Lee Sin's ganks. It's harder for you to actually make your own plays happen. The only plays really did come from Faker moving towards top. They got some advantages there, but Damwon's bot side was getting so much more. Sowmaker was always relevant, and Damwon just played incredibly well through the mid and late game.
I wonder if Damwon know that T1 is a responsive team in drafts. Think back to the Hanwha Live series, they give them LeBlanc, they give them Renekton, they pick things like Poppy and Lissandra into it, and they like to counter-pick lanes itself. Maybe the team composition just kind of fell apart a little bit there, because it really felt like T1 had no business ever contesting anything because of the range advantage.
Had faith in their counter picks. You saw LeBlanc up, you saw Lee Sin up. It was an easy call to say, hey, Damwon Kia is going to go for these picks. We knew the Poppy was coming, but Damwon outperforming, really showing up on an individual level. And important to remember that this Damwon lineup is so unstoppable in the part of the game, as you highlighted, the early game where T1 have often looked so good. That said, it's time to check out T1's pick as the song that represents their playstyle, Runner, by T1, DJ Redden, Baekhyun, and Changmo. I'm so sorry if I butchered those names. And of course, the rest of the teams competing at Worlds on the official LoL playlist on Spotify. For now, we're going on a short break. We'll be right back with more Worlds 2021.
Oh yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a quick Red Bull.
Red Bull? But you still...
for 1-2-1. You first pick a Lee Sin, you can go for Syndra LeBlanc on 2-3. So we'll have to see what they opt into. But that's already a Rise ban coming out from T1.
The other option they have, I mean, if they actually want to just ban out the Lee Sin, is to leave Aphelios up and first pick that blue side. They were obviously very concerned, but we'll see if Damwon's still going to ban it out on red side.
Yeah, I wonder if Damwon's locked bans are Yuumi, TF, Aphelios, and then T1 should read into that and maybe look for a first pick Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Obviously, blind pick LeBlanc might not be good, but Lee Sin is the kind of factor in the LeBlanc-Lissandra matchup.
It's certainly a huge opportunity for Owner on a champion that can make or break games. We talked about it earlier today. Peter Dunn called it out. It's a champion that scales with skill. Owner, does he have what it takes?
I love that saying.
I love it too. And does he have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with Canyon in a semifinal? And, you know, as such a young player, it's a huge, huge challenge. But frankly, I would love to see it.
I mean, already a change here. T1 banning out Rise on the blue side, not willing to give that over. Aphelios was the first ban last time, but it's still banned out this time by Damwon. Obviously, second round, Damwon did ban out the Jinx, but if you're willing to first rotation something, if you think that's a high enough priority pick.
Is T1 going to ban away Syndra here? Because then you're looking at LeBlanc as kind of like the highest prio mid, but then Lee Sin is possibly up too. Or are they going to ban away the Graves? Okay, Jarvan ban away to deny maybe Jarvan
they're going to take
Kennen,
Sin,
or take away the Jarvan into your mobile carries, right? Yeah, you're looking at LeBlanc, Lee Sin here, or maybe even MF for first pick.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of going towards the Lee Sin first. You ban out the J4 as another aggressive early jungler. If they take LeBlanc, you can take Syndra. If you take Syndra, they can take LeBlanc, etc. And look for that really powerful mid-jungle duo. I think this makes a lot of sense based on what we're talking about. T1 now will have an avenue to be aggressive and to really be the ones dictating the pace.
Yeah, and they can force a lot topside here. If that Graves gets locked in from Damwon, they can look for Kennen Lissandra here and just go full team fight. Lee Sin, Kennen Lissandra would be great here. Of course, the Graves can be a flex, but then they'd have to pick Jace on 3, then they're playing Graves Jace into your top side. Lissandra Kennen here would be fantastic for T1.
And frankly, T1 just going to be playing an entirely different comp. They have already locked in Lissandra, but now so many tools to get things started. So much AoE with Lissandra and a potential multi-man Lee Sin kick. Picking up the supportive AD carry for themselves, saying we don't need Gumayusi to play that hyper carry. We're happy to have him take a step back. And frankly, from what we saw in the Jhin in Game 1 in the hands of Ghost, it seems to be very powerful.
Yeah, Ghost has been doing really well on the pick. Obviously has a world skin on it, not bad at it. It's usually a hint. But, you know, he can take the MF side of it here. So we'll see if they want to go towards that. Instead, they're going to prioritize jungle very likely. Xin makes sense if you want to play for a powerful top side, which Damwon showed they did in Game 1. But now this gives T1 the ability to actually ban out some more of these marksmen and try to push down Ghost on the tier list.
Yeah, but if Damwon ban away Kennen and Gwen, I feel like T1 are kind of starved for top laners with AP damage into the Graves, right? Unless you want to match it with something like a Jace and then run Jace into the LeBlanc again. Damwon probably going to target top side, you expect. But like I said, T1 on the opposite side with the Jhin can ban away things like the MF, can ban away things like the Ezreal or Kai'Sa in a safe sense for options to start playing through bots more.
And the AP bans coming out as predicted. See if they're going to follow with the Kennen as well. Kennen, a champion, hasn't really shown up yet so far in this series. Obviously, hugely powerful across the entirety of Worlds, with a focus instead on a lot of these early powerhouses like the Graves. See what the option is going to be for T1. Don't have to worry about counterpick, or like will have access to counterpicks for the solo lanes, even though they are on blue side. But bot lane matchup was crucial in Game 1, and it looks like that's where the focus is going to be.
I would be really interested too if T1 was actually willing to go towards the Jax. We saw Khan bring out Jax into the Graves. You know, if the Kennen is going to get banned out here, that is another option. That is mixed damage. Yes, it's not pure AP, but can actually work fairly well if we've seen that.
I feel like if you're going to draft a split pushy top laner, I think now with Kennen and Gwen gone as expected, Camille would make a lot of sense with Lissandra into LeBlanc. You need lockdown. Playing things like Jax and Jace and these things into LeBlanc, you really struggle to get in range. If they want to play pure team fights and 1-4, I think Camille suits their comp pretty well. I just feel like with this AD carry pick, they've drafted themselves a hole to avoid team fights. But Leona, to me, is now the biggest high prio. Does either team get Leona here? Because I feel like Damwon, if they ban away an AD carry like Ziggs, Leona is probably the highest prio right now as a support, because the enemy bot lane is playing Jhin Braum, you won't really see into LeBlanc.
I like the Ziggs ban especially, make it that much harder to go for either the kill lanes or just freeing up Ziggs to sit solo on the bottom side. The tier list does get a little bit bleak with the options remaining at this stage. Is Ghost gonna go for a hyper carry? Draven would be an option.
No. Are we gonna get carry as Maokai maybe? We saw Jhin Maokai last game.
Say,
yeah, into LeBlanc, it would be fantastic.
You could actually take the other side of it, because that is kind of a new wrinkle. The Draven's locked in. Okay, let's go. Ghost was popping off in game number 1, and now he's got to have a good game, because if you don't have a good game on Draven, you have an awful game on Draven.
Absolutely, and Draven with the changes to his ultimate has looked strong in this tournament, but rarely in professional play do we see players who are confident enough to pick the Draven on stage. Even more, trying to pick up that axe against a Jhin, against Lissandra, it's going to be a tough task for Ghost. He popped off in game 1. Can he do it again?
It's so interesting, because if T1 go Leona, they know that Beryl could still just answer with the Maokai, which actually seemed like a pretty good interaction.
Oh, that's
there.
a Yasuo locked in.
Oh,
that's a Yasuo locked in.
Rakan.
Hey, wait, is that Yasuo Lee Sin top side into Graves?
Is this going to be Yasuo top, or is it going to be like Lissandra top? Flexing Lissandra top.
I saw Kana
so
playing Yasuo yesterday in solo queue. Now, I will say he was running it a tiny bit, but he got camped. But he was playing Yasuo yesterday. Yeah, he was playing it yesterday. So I think this is Yasuo into Graves. First, we saw the Maokai into Leona matchup, and now we're seeing Yasuo into Graves. Alistar going to come through for Beryl, makes sense into things like Jhin Rakan, but Lee Sin Yasuo has good kill pressure. The only worry I have for them is this double AD into Graves. Is it Lissandra top?
That's what I was thinking, is they might actually be doing that to have the AP into it, and Faker could play it mid, but they're going to swap, and they still have time. Sense. Yeah, this does make more sense, so especially because you want to have Lissandra matching into LeBlanc.
Yeah, we were worried for T1's top lane, you know, with Kennen down, Gwen down, they're blind picking Graves. Are you going to play Jace? But no, they're going to play Yasuo, and this was prepared from the get-go.
And while this is not a do-or-die matchup, T1 are still down a game in this series. This is high pressure for a Yasuo top lane. And this is not by any means an easy competition to play against.
This is crazy, actually. Game 2 here. Both these teams clearly coming with a lot prepared. We get the Maokai support in game 1. Game 2, we're getting not only the Ghost Draven, but you're getting Kana on Yasuo. These very explosive feast or famine style champions.
After game 1, game 1 we called feast or famine. That was nothing. Those guys were eating good no matter what compared to this. It is all or nothing here in this game.
Yeah, and you've got Ghost picking Draven into Gumayushi, and then you've got Kana picking Yasuo into his idol of Khan, who he's looked up to and is fighting for him for a spot in the finals. He is willing to pull out the Yasuo Lee Sin into Graves. This is going to be a bloodbath on both sides, both side lanes. Mid jungle, I think, is the focus then.
The gauntlet has been thrown down, no doubt, as we get into game 2. Will the student become the master here? Can Kana just take down Khan? Graves so powerful, so oppressive. Yasuo a champion, though, that when he gets going, never stops.
And I wonder if Yasuo has the TP. He does in the end. So Fleet Footwork TP, Resolve second, Doran Shield. So maybe not as much action as we'd hope for in the first few levels, of course, just sustaining up and will get pushed in by the Graves. But something you can play towards at level 6 with really good lockup from the Lee Sin. And we needed something to lock the LeBlanc down. That's what T1 was looking for. We thought they'd pick Camille, but a Lee Sin kick or any knock-up from Rakan for a Yasuo to stun her up and get the kill is something that will help them.
It's also worth mentioning, Windwall later in the game is going to have so much value against double marksman. When you're playing against a Graves plus the Draven, there's really, really high value with that Windwall there. I'm going to be so interested to see how mid lane is going, though, because we did actually see the same matchup from Faker and Chovy, and Chovy definitely was getting the pressure in those early levels. You know, this is more about more of an answer to LeBlanc and not necessarily a counter to LeBlanc, and you will still expect Faker to lose the early lane, and I just want to see how heavily weighted it is towards Sowmaker.
No matter how exciting the bottom side of the map was, we do have to pull attention back to our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Sowmaker versus Faker again. This time, Faker with the counter matchup. Faker the one who has the tools to answer. Yes, it's not the flashiest pick, but his teammates have got him backed up with flashy picks plenty.
Kana didn't spot the late invade. Canyon and Kana walking up for the blue buff. They're going to get this for free. Kana actually ran away the second Damwon's top jungle walked in. So now it's almost like a split map situation. The problem is T1 doesn't know it's happening. So Owner will path top, you expect, but then after this red Krugs Raptors pathing, he'll realize his blue is gone.
Yeah, and Draven, as well as the Alistar, Beryl Ghost, they faked the leash. They actually went up to the blue buff. They came down through River. So they enter the lane from there, you know, really saying, hey, he's over here. He's over here, guys. He's clearing bot to top, but it's not the case, and Canyon's going to take away multiple camps. And this could be a disaster scenario. If your bot side's getting pushed in, you go towards top, all your camps are gone. It gets really, really rough for Owner.
Beryl and Ghost not just playing for the bot lane, playing for the Oscar as well. Gumushi and Kerio see how they fight back on this one. Halo Blades Draven is just very, very oppressive in trades if he's able to land a few of those axes. That said, Gumiusi might not just give him the space to do so, as Canyon already moving across, looking to take his own camps, will get spotted crucially as he enters the jungle here, so they will have that info.
And that's very important now, because Owner will see Canyon took away his blue, and now he's question mark being, did he take my blue? He has bot push and he has mid push. Owner could have just ran straight to the enemy blue right now, level 3 Lee Sin and contested, but he's opted out of it. Maybe he's scared of some early top play and wants to make sure the Yasuo is safe. Xin Zhao is very good into getting early ganks onto Yasuo.
But if he doesn't go invade the blue side now, he's just going to be so far behind, right? You're going to be giving away so many camps, and Damwon will have full knowledge of where you are, so he has to go now. They're pinging towards it. T1's bot side with the push are looking to invade, get the vision down, and Owner's going to come over here, and they're going to have to try to play, split map, which makes it very difficult for Kana, because now you're playing this kind of high risk, high reward melee champion in Yasuo, but your jungler's not on your side of the map.
Yeah, and Canyon's probably going to do Krugs into top grab and maybe look for an early top dive. Really good lockdown.
Well, they're going to go
from
mid.
Xin Zhao.
They want to dive Sowmaker.
Faker can flash W here, and Keria could follow with flash W himself. If it
Faker
misses...
backing off, flash forward, that's a W, instant follow-up. Sowmaker now running. Is going to try to outplay this one, but first blood dropping for T1. An excellent start in the mid lane.
Yeah, T1 proactive once again. First blood, second game in a row. And that does go on to Owner, looking a lot more confident. Owner, a very kind of aggressive player, feast or famine playstyle in the LCK. Once he's ahead, he knows how to play from ahead and he's very comfortable. We saw on the Poppy, his first gank towards bot in game 1. He fell behind, he died, and from there it felt like Owner really wasn't in the game, but this time around gets himself a kill, and Sowmaker...
Still going to connect the chains here. Owner stopping the recall there just in case Faker gets collapsed on.
Yeah, so Owner doesn't end up actually taking away any of Canyon's camps whatsoever. So, Canyon is going to kind of catch back up here. I will say, Faker should have flashed in earlier before the minions got there, because then you can actually follow up on the queue. When they went in this late, Owner has to ward hop in, then try to get in range. It's actually very difficult for him to actually close the gap. And then, as an additional cost, he had to spend his flash to get out of the tower range because he didn't have his safeguard available since he needed to use that to enter. So it could have been a little bit cleaner, but a really nice aggressive play.
Yeah, they still got the playoff, which is really important. And now Owner is slightly ahead of Canyon. You've got this jungle matchup of Owner, who was on T1 Academy in 2020 when Canyon was winning Worlds. And Canyon is notoriously the best jungler over the last 2 years versus Owner in his debut year at Worlds.
And I think overall, Canyon is a player that we always have our eye on, especially after the Lee Sin performance in the last game, because when you think back to players that have won multiple titles, it's Bank. It's Faker's third summoner spell, the guy who was the supportive player to help out and support Faker. On the opposite side for Canyon, this is a man who has carried tournaments single-handedly, carried games single-handedly, a very different style, looking to cement himself in the same way that Bengi has been cemented in League history.
Absolutely. I mean, Bengi is the only jungler to have multiple World Championship titles. Canyon is on the hunt for his second. He's looking, to really put himself into that conversation for a best jungler in history, and I do think he is getting there. If they win this year, I do think you have at least got to consider him up among those greats.
Definitely have, and Canyon, of course, has base picked up first kind of component for his item build, and he's going to go through his second respawn camps. We saw him on the Krugs earlier. Luckily for Owner, this Gromp that he will pick up is a level 2 Gromp, right? So yes, he lost out on camps early, but the second respawn will help him out and get him to level 5, you expect. And then both junglers, once they hit level 6, with Lissandra level 6, LeBlanc moving around the map top side, you have to guess is the focus for both these teams.
And looking down towards the bottom side of the map, I'm just wondering how Gumiusi and Keria get out of this lane. Now that Beryl has made it to level 3, much more kill pressure. Ghost sitting very comfortably, keeping that pressure up on the bottom side. At some point that has to break. At some point somebody has to recall. See where the pressure goes for now is Owner on the top side, just looking to cover Kana for now. Only level 5 here. Canyon Con surely more than enough damage to lock up the Yasuo, but always a risky prospect to dive against the wind wall.
Yeah, I think it would be a really risky dive, especially because he is full health right now, has been spotted, but can at least threaten this, and they want to try to potentially zone him off. They don't have TP from Sowmaker, so I think it's just going to be get the vision, play towards topside scuttle. Sowmaker is moving from mid, though, which is going to make you pretty nervous as Kana.
Yeah, Kana hasn't based yet. He still has TP. We'll have to base and pick up Boots' first item, tier 2 Boots, Berserker Greaves, you imagine, and then play towards the top side. I think a big thing that hurt T1 in game 1 was they moved towards the Herald, they watched it die, and then they backed off. And I think having that early Herald just sets the tempo of the map, and that's something you need when you're playing Lee Sin, Yasuo, Lissandra to start snowballing the game.
And you can see T1 was paying the respect to that possible dive. As soon as Sowmaker actually was missing, Owner's camps are respawning on bot side, but he went top to just make sure that he was close enough to respond to any potential dive if that were to come in. It did not, so he covers the play, he moves back towards his second red buff. He's going to clear down towards bot side, and we'll see if either team wants to move towards an early dragon or if it's just going to be all about the Herald setup.
And game 1, a little bit more aggressive, 4 kills, I believe, around the 10-minute mark. This time around, just 1 kill at 7 minutes. See what else is going to go through. Certainly a lot of setup on both sides to make these kills happen. Faker, though, with a bit more reliable point-and-click CC carry, approaching level 6. See where the focus is going to be. Herald, you already brought it up, I feel like is naturally where we expect, especially T1 to go. But Damwon Kia have tools to fight back. That said, if you take a risk against a yeahhhh when he gets ahead in this game, it's going to make it so much harder.
Definitely is. And 30 seconds till the Herald spawns. Cant's going to base and run out towards the top side. They'll cancel it in the end, and Owner's trying to get level 6 as fast as possible. Lee Sin, Lissandra, level 6 is so powerful into LeBlanc. This Lissandra-LeBlanc matchup, whoever has Lee Sin kind of wins out on the 2v2s because of the lockdown you have and the CC setup for the burst to take LeBlanc down. And you can see both supports have been hovering around mid for so long. Gumayusi actually dropping bot waves this time around, and being on the Herald play first will give Ghost some room to breathe, and he will be able to get some plates for himself and get himself ahead. But T1 probably just going to get this Herald and try to force this top tier one.
Yeah, it looks like it will be the inverse, but this time we actually do see Ghost is starting to cheat up into the river, but going back down now, so he's not going to move. And I think it will just be a free T1 Herald. And we'll see how much they're going to be able to get off of this. I mean, if you go up towards topside, as you're saying, you start to get Kana ahead. Lee Sin is now 6. That can be a really frightening duo.
Looks like Gumayusi will just run back bot, has the tier 2 boots, but again, you will bleed plates and experience. You can see Ghost is level 6. The good thing for T1 is mid lane has been a great place to unlock so far, right? Faker's got the assist, he has really good setup, and mid tower's already at 4 platings, but it looks like actually they're going to a 1-3-1, 8 minutes in, match Faker bot, wait for his TP to come up, and then have their bot lane in mid.
And I like the adaptive lane assignments, frankly, because Ghost is getting scarier and scarier. Remember that execution will come through on the ultimate based on how many stacks he has. And this man has just been sitting in lane, farming and picking up stacks. So going in 1v1 as a Jhin is a risky prospect.
And Herald's going to get you 2 plates, right? But Ghost already got 2 plates of gold isolated just for himself. He also got ahead in farm, he got ahead in experience. Kana up here by himself on this top side. Beryl will be spotted by the ward as he moves up, so now you can expect Owner to move up here and try to cover, and nothing really should come of this.
Khan very comfortable in this matchup, honestly. Quick drawing away from the empowered Q. Very massive, but a wind wall coming out. Owner waiting in the darkness. The setup for the play is here.
Hoping a 3v3. Faker actually pushed out bot and moved towards mid. Ghost ulted bot wave to push in as well. He's going to run mid too, so it's a lot of tension here in the top side river, trying to force Damwon out. T1R, and Damwon's looking for some kind of dive onto Kana. They will get this top crab, and they're trying to maintain top side vision. Dragon is up, so both teams could just pivot towards the bot side and get that for themselves. But it's just a trade-off of waves and tempo right now in each lane.
Taking the time, Gumayusi just trying to push this wave out as quickly as possible so he can recall. Ninja Tabby's coming out, respecting the triple AD threat on the opposite side, knows that he may get caught out and be in trouble if he does not have that item. Of course, in the meantime, just keeping our eyes on items across the board. No one completing anything major, no massive advantages for either side. 200 gold, the only thing in favor of Damwon Kia. Will be balanced out when the Herald is finally used, but that is a ticking clock for T1. They need to find that pressure on the map so they can set it up.
This game is going to open with a click of a finger. One huge team fight is going to make it so the game swings in either way, right? You've got T1 with really good hard engage with the Lee Sin kick into Yasuo into Lissandra. If they can get a kill, then they can start to move forwards with the Lissandra passive and get resets and get more kills for the entire team. But if Ghost gets a kill and gets a reset and gets his gold on his passive, then Damwon are just going to snowball so far ahead. So it's so much tension on the top side to see who can crack open the base first.
About 230 stacks for the Draven. So if you're at 230 health or less, you will be executed by the Whirling Death.
Damwon have 3 here, and T1 does have Owner, but that might give them a false sense of security.
Khan now stepping forward. Owner off to the side. Flash out. Denying. Owner taking his time.
T1 roaming.
Lock up Khan. There's Kana going in. Lissandra in the midst of everything. 1 kill can reset the entire fight. Keep your eyes on the frozen thralls as they start to come out. That's 1. Finding it. Now the Ghost of Xin Zhao moving forward, looking to slow them down, looking to break them as Kana is popping off, looking for the 3rd stack on the Q. Can he find it? Can he find the knockback from Beryl? The turn. Owner getting dropped. Sowmaker finding the kill. Damwon Kia standing strong in the skirmish. Faker staying around a little bit too long. Sowmaker now backing off. It is neck and neck in this battle, but at the end of the day, it is only a 1-for-1.
It started so good for T1 there. It looked like they were going to be able to clean up multiple kills, but the team fighting of Damwon so clean. Sowmaker, can he actually stop this base from Kana?
Deeping in, distortion there. Buying as much time as possible. Ghost in the meantime still pressuring on bottom side, pushing those waves under tower.
And it just ends in a 1-for-1. So much happened in that fight. So many great mechanical execution plays from both sides. Faker just about missed his flash W to get the final kill to make it a 2-for-1, so they can maybe look for a Herald play top. But it was all contest on top side. If T1 was able to win that fight, that's top tower dead. If Damwon was able to win that fight, then they can start to snowball the game through top side. Owner is just going to drop it mid.
Yeah, he's got to drop it now. He doesn't have much time left on it, and the one thing that's kind of bad for T1 is they actually spent all 3 flashes from their top side there on that play, where Canyon, Sowmaker still have theirs available, so there is potential to try to punish that. They at least cash in on the Herald, get a little bit of something there, but Damwon still in the slight advantage. Ghost now has the Mythic complete, he's looking good.
And this is where we get a glimpse of how good T1's comp functions in the Axe effect replay. Connor actually flashing Beryl's combo while blinded there. The kick comes in, into the Assault, into the Lissandra. That's the follow-up. That's the single target damage they want to get a kill, get the reset, and then start moving forwards. Unfortunately, T1 didn't actually have the damage to finish off Khan here. They chased so deep on the tower, and it let Beryl get a headbutt onto Owner right here into their tier 1 to turn the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Khan just kiting it back so incredibly low here. The knock-up hits, Faker not able to connect on that flash W there to finish off Khan. That's his flash down, and his T1 just barely losing out on that fight.
And the big thing here is that you saw on that one, the true grit value from Graves as that fight extends, as he finds those quick draws. That armor coming through makes Owner and Kana's damage so much less effective.
This is a really big spike for Damwon. I'd like to see them try to fight for this Dragon right now. They just finished Mythics across the board, right? They've got 4 in the inventory now, double shield bow, the Gorg Drinker's through. We already had that Luden's done for Sowmaker, so they are really in a good spot right now if they can look to try to make something happen, and they are pathing towards that Dragon.
More than 300 stacks on the Draven 2 is a ticking time bomb. Eventually, his ult will just kill you. You need to kill Ghost. If he finds a kill in one of these fights before you shut him down, he will be so massively far ahead.
T1 just aren't ready to fight, though. They don't have their Mythics complete, so they went for some different options. We obviously saw the Zerker Griefs rush, we saw the Tabby's rush. That put them behind in both top and AD carry to actually complete that Mythic, so they're not going to look to fight. Instead, they're trying to get something down to your top.
Go to the wall, smoke screen comes out, makes it hard for Owner to follow up. Could have gone for the kick to try to set up Kana, but doesn't want to take it. In the meantime, they're just denying away from Khan.
Yeah, I think the smoke screen stopped him from being able to wall jump forwards there as Komayushi dodges away from Canyon's W there. Faker has TP to respond to any play that kicks off, so Sowmaker actually, only with boots tier 1, has to just push in mid waves as quick as he can and move to either side if T1 want to force something. T1 tried to cross map there, they saw Dragon died, maybe they can make a pick onto Khan. Unfortunately, they could not in the end, so the map's in a stable position right now, and it's going into a 1-3-1 here for both teams.
Ghost moving first, though. Faker on the side, might be able to grab a tower. There's no more plates for him, but the Herald is respawning now. Damwon Kia priority access. Can look to break down a tower with this one. It looks like T1 are not comfortable enough to contest.
Yeah, and I think it's a good decision. They don't really have vision on that top side. The plates are already down, so there's less value from the Herald anyway. Faker's going to be able to get some damage down on the bottom side. Is Resolve as the primary tree, so going to have Demolish. And we'll see. Keria potentially flanking here. It's be a long flank, but Kana's moving down. And
TP over the wall. Dodges back on the Pulverize there. Headbutt still available for Beryl. Sowmaker still trying to play on the edge there, but Graves is still pushing in on the top side. Draven in the meanwhile just holding into mid lane, but Faker's grabbing so much damage on this bot lane tower as Damwon Kia really need to try and find the fight here. Stand aside goes in, but not gonna amount to much. Herald will get used mid lane and they'll at least trade 1-for-1, but in the top side, Khan grabbing a tower of his own as well.
Will they get this? Faker's basing and he has TP. There's a ward behind them on the right side there next to the tier 1. T1 could look to pull the trigger here if Damwon overstep. The important thing here is T1 is catching top waves and getting a bot tier 1, whereas Sowmaker is just standing in mid with the rest of his team and fell behind in experience there. Level 10 to level 11 of Faker.
It's actually so nice to see how these teams are playing. It does feel like an evolution from the LCK finals where, we saw last game T1 willing to actually trade bot side for Herald. Again, this game making a smart trade bot side for Herald, not just completely opting into every 5v5 there. They're playing a couple of really clean games. Damwon is in the area here. Do they go?
Beryl going in, committing on the engage. Still has the ultimate available. Whirling Death coming out very early. The value of that execute's going to be gone before the fight even starts. T1 take control of mid lane, but both sides know how much is at stake if they fully commit for the engage. A single mistake could cost you the game. Neither side looking to overstep.
Well, Faker wasn't spotted there until the last second from Damwon. Beryl backed away just in time. Khan's going to base and has TP as well. Mid-wave contest non-stop from both these teams. Looks like T1 want to push Damwon back to get control of this bot side river. No Dragon for 2 minutes 30 seconds, but both teams want to force this mid tower.
Yeah, Faker I think going to move down bot side. The wave is actually, he crashed on the tier 2, so it's pushing out towards him. You can see though, again, T1 have the advantage in sides because Faker got the push. He took the mid one, or rather tier 1 bot, gets that, bounces the wave, so now he gets all this juicy farm to pick up. He's going to push that back the right way for them. Khan is up on this top side, has the shield bow complete now, so a critical pickup for him, and he'll be pushing in there. Well, the core 3 have reset and are going to try to get mid lane control, which could mean that tier 1 falls mid.
So good from T1. Hold steady, come up with something new in the Yasuo, but it's worked pretty solidly throughout this early game. Has not been the most explosive games. Really only action on the top side of the map. No all-out skirmishes quite yet. Get later and later in the game, see who can find the edge here. But for now, T1, again, simple comp to execute when you have a Lissandra. Find access, push R, kill somebody, and keep it going. That said, very volatile when you're pairing it with the Yasuo.
I feel like this is something we kind of saw in the finals, T1 versus Damwon, where T1 would get a good early game gold lead through map play or just getting towers, but then Damwon just dissected them through the map, and sometimes T1 were their own worst enemies, where they over-chased into the enemy team after getting one singular kill, so they need to be a lot more patient and collected around this next dragon spawning soon.
And it's so stressful when you get later and later into the game and there hasn't been a big fight yet, because this fight will be so explosive. And it can decide so much in the game. You know, if you commit to a 5v5 this late in the game, at that dragon, you take the dragon for yourselves, you get all those kills for yourself, you can put yourself monumentally ahead. They're going!
There, Cant, the chain CC coming in, he uses the ult. Beryl now following up, Ghost waiting off to the side, doesn't want to overcommit for this one, but just a lot of cooldowns being burnt. No one from Damwon Kia is going to drop, but a lot of blinking health bars might mean T1 get priority access to the Drake.
But Cant has shield bow and he has TP, so he can actually base and TP back.
There's
Over
the
Canyon!
Canyon locked up, now the follow from Yasuo going in, Canyon flashes right over the wall, keep your eyes on Ghost though, if he can land the ultimate, if he can find it, that's the word. There it is! 800 gold for Ghost, as he finally finds the kill he was looking for.
T1 looked for the pick onto Canyon, but Kana used the wind wall way too early, so he couldn't defend Keria. Now T1 are facing a 4v5 situation without an ultimate on Faker or Kana. It's only Owner and Gumayushi with it, but Damwon are low, and Beryl looks like he wants to back off. TP coming in here from Faker. They still have control around the river, but Sowmaker's looking for it.
Back up the wall. Q does not connect. T1 trying to take control of mid lane, knowing that this will give them priority access to the Drake. 5 seconds on the spawn.
Ultimates are down, but it feels more impactful for T1 to be missing those. No Lissandra, no kick, no Yasuo ult is such a big deal. They will take that mid lane tier 1. They get mid control. They'll go down towards this dragon, likely be able to grab that for themselves. But it just felt like a little bit of split decisions from T1 in those looks where they were going for the pick. They committed the Lissandra ult onto Cant, then they didn't actually have that when they tried to go all in for Canyon, so they didn't quite have enough on either side. You know, you want to try to use all those abilities together, utilizing the Yasuo ult, the Lissandra ult, all these to kind of stack and layer and make sure you get that first kill, so you get those frozen thralls out from Lissandra and can begin to run over the fight.
Yeah, you're completely right, Azale. It's T1 who can dictate the fights, right? Damwon, the only real engage they have is an Alistar if he can flash combo into Gumayushi, and then maybe some kind of chains from Sowmaker or a Q3 from Canyon. So Damwon have to wait for T1 to commit and then turn as they do it. If T1 don't commit completely on the same target and in kind of harmony, then Damwon can turn quite easily. Beryl can stop the backline from getting close, and then we see it right there.
And double marksman in an extended fight is so difficult to deal with. The Duke will try to go all in here for Canyon, but as I said, there's no Lissandra ult. They don't actually have that, so the lockdown is not long enough. The wind wall was spent early, as you called out, Kadril, and then there's just not the defense onto Keria. The execute comes through. That is 1,150 gold off of one kill, and that is Ghost now in a position to carry back-to-back games potentially.
Yeah, and the wind wall is what bails you out of these fights as T1. When you overcommit, you pop the wind wall to stop them from being able to damage you while you're committing to that one target.
Similarly, though, Canyon, with his ultimate, able to mitigate so much of the follow-up damage that's coming from Jhin, but I think it's good that we highlight Ghost, because again, incredible game 1 on the Jhin, more of a utility carrier.
Yeah,
this
good
time,
game.
it's the Draven, and he's already popping off again. Very quiet in the early game while he farms stacks, but, you know, cashed him in the end, and that's all that matters. This was not a player that we expected to be laser-focused on. We expected this matchup to be all about top side, unless Gumayushi was given something like the Aphelios. Instead, Ghost really making a name for himself in this one.
And I think he's just been getting better and better. You know, he's a player that has received a lot of criticism, but it's tough because you're on a team of some of the best players in history, right? So yes, he doesn't always look as strong by comparison to Canyon or to Sowmaker, but he is an incredible player in his own right, and definitely showing that here against T1's bot lane, who is considered by many to be the strongest at the tournament.
Lock up, LeBlanc manages to get back over the wall, and now the follow-up, the flash out to safety. Keria going to be in trouble. No follow-up on the frozen claw there.
Yeah, the ultimate has a tiny cast time, so Sowmaker could W back before it instantly locked him down. If he hit the ultimate, he could have hit the Everfrost too, and the Jhin W could have followed shortly after, so Sowmaker playing with fire there.
But they did get Showmaker's flash, so that is actually a pretty big deal. It is just the ult for flash, because T1 didn't overcommit. They just expended the Lissandra ult, Keria W's over the wall. You know, if that lands, there was going to be follow-up, he would have gone down, so he is forced to commit the summoner. And that is going to mean Sowmaker has to play it much more safe around these objectives. When he's dancing in and out, you can get punished really heavily.
Yeah, and especially when he's running Sorcerer's Shoes on LeBlanc against Lissandra and Rakan, Sowmaker might have to be careful here. Faker doesn't have the ult to know that and run towards his team, help them get the push, because Damwon have so much control of this river. Looks like Faker will have to be there to push them out.
Yeah, and T1 do have the deep wards, but they don't have any vision on where Damwon actually is.
Looking for it. Keep your eyes on Faker, that frozen tomb. The path into the backside. Instantly, the Rakan getting things kicked off. Khan and everyone's now moving in, but that's Ghost down. Yasuo already getting things started, and here comes Faker on the backside, waiting for the perfect ultimate. In the meantime, Damwon Kia getting things kicked off. Another knockup coming in from Khan to the Yasuo. 2 clutch. Beryl still coming out. Sowmaker still alive. Khan still alive. Faker trying to finish the job. Sowmaker running for his life. He's juking, he's diving, he's finding a way out, but Gumayushi comes in with the bullet to find the kill. T1 on the knife's edge. Khan still standing. So much lifesteal, but it will not be enough. T1 take the fight.
Honor and Faker standing strong. It's a bloodbath at the Dragon, and T1 coming out on top.
Faker and Sowmaker had a 1v1 for so long. Sowmaker was the one who had to run for the hills. Eventually, he went back to his distortion, and Gumayushi finished him off. It ended up in a 2v2, and T1 get the Dragon, then they get the ace.
Oh my god, what a fight that was. That battle between Sowmaker and Faker. Faker locking him down for so long. The greatest of all time versus the Sowmaker. Sit down, kid. You still got something to learn.
And we see it here, right? Ghost was just way too far up. Keria instantly punished him, and there's the combo. The knock up into the Yasuo. Look at Faker. He comes around the side. It's just such a bloodbath scrap of 4 or 5 members on top of each other. But Faker singles out Sowmaker right there. Stuns him, locks him up, roots him as much as possible to keep him out of the fight, which means Gumayushi can live for so long, and eventually Gumayushi is the one to finish Sowmaker off.
But as much as it feels like, wow, everything went right for T1, look how close the fight was, because Canyon and Khan were getting work done. The Draven died early, the LeBlanc was locked down, but it was hunting season for Graves as well as for the Xin Zhao, who were just wreaking havoc on T1.
Yeah, that fight was on a knife's edge, and Ghost...
Damwon Kia stepping forward, Khan getting very, very aggressive, but again, their composition outside of the Alistar really lacks immediate aggressive engage tools, which means Khan is just free on the side lane to keep pushing, to keep pressuring, as T1 might look to collapse if Damwon Kia do not move perfectly.
T1 just playing this really, really well. This had been one of their weaknesses against Damwon in the past, was that they would often overpush, they would get caught inside, so they didn't play this push and pull game of split push well. But in this case, they're in the 4-1, Damwon is grouped as 5, so as Damwon move forward, T1 moves back. That buys time for Kana to push in that wave, to deny some of that goal to Damwon, and then as soon as they move over, Kana moves back, and now T1's 4 move into the river, getting that Baron vision, establishing control in this area, and this is just beautiful League of Legends.
Absolutely, and this is the reason that so many people expected 5 games. It's not because of what we saw in the finals, it's because of what T1 has shown us in this tournament. The growth that they've been developing, and again, keep in mind, rookies on the stage. These are babies on the international stage. They lost game 1. So many players would have collapsed.
Grandpa Faker there in the middle.
Grandpa Faker there in the middle.
151 games.
The Splinter to the Ninja Turtles, I think you said, Kate. He's holding it together, and I think it is important to have that voice behind you, because obviously so much more experience on the side of Damwon Kia. T1 holding their own in this game too is massive.
Yeah, the rookies of T1 can look to their left, look to their right, and they know that they have the greatest player of all time in the mid lane to rely on when it comes to these tense situations. But Damwon are just such a well-oiled machine that right now it's just even footing on both sides. Mid-wave contests, vision contests, both waiting for an objective to spawn. 1 minute 30 seconds on the next Dragon. That'll put T1 on Ocean Soul Point, and Damwon don't actually have any vision control right now. It's very hard for them to push T1 backwards because of the amount of ultimates that T1 have.
Faker's teleport up. Can always fish for another flank. The deep vision isn't really there. Khan sweeping it out now. Coming over the wall, starting the Baron. I think he just is after the ward at this point. Just going to look to leave and this one go right back over with the quick draw. But again, the pressure rising. A single play could turn this game against T1. They have all the tools to start a fight on their terms, but if they pick a single bad fight, this Graves, this Draven, this LeBlanc will pick them to pieces.
And you know the Baron take is so easy for Damwon off of a 1 fight because you have that double marksman. It will go down incredibly fast, but T1 just trying to get these side lanes pushed. I wonder if Kana has the Death Dance complete here. I'm assuming that's what he's going to go for, and he does have it. That's a very big buy against what is an overwhelmingly physical damage comp here from Damwon. But so much of these fights is really just down to execution for T1 because they don't have tankiness in their characters. They have tankiness from their mitigation, from their abilities, right? From the zone control created by the Lissandra, from the wind wall used by the Yasuo, from the CC that they put out. If you are not on point with those, you can get blown.
They kind of walks towards there, has the TP. All T1 need to do now is just show themselves. Show themselves into Damwon's face and say, you cannot start this Nash, otherwise we will contest you. In the meantime, they are getting this Dragon Soul point.
Grabbing their third Drake.
They started it. I think Damwon has started.
Damwon Kia can start this one up. Dragon already going down. Beryl trying to play bouncer for this pit. It is going down, but not quickly enough. Yasuo now in the area. Can use a kick to get himself there. Sowmaker fishing for a flank. Damwon Kia confident here, taking their time on starting this, but splitting up very heavily. A single mistake could cost them everything. Sowmaker off on the flank, T1 pushing in. Damwon Kia, you have to feel, need to back away from this one, and they will. Well played by T1 not to give up anything for that trade.
Yeah, that was really clean. Kana goes towards Dragon, he solos that out, he TPs mid, he realizes that...
Oh, they're going forward! Goes Golden, Sowmaker buys a bit more time. Sowmaker now tries to leap out to safety. The timing is almost perfect, but not quite enough. He ults the clone! That's not who you needed, Kana in the back line. Knocks him back in, knocks him under the tower, trying to finish the job. Khan, though, getting picked apart again. Goes Golden, tries to buy a bit more time. Canyon standing strong under the tower. It's a bloodbath overall, but T1, all 5 members standing in the midst of that mid lane skirmish.
Yeah, 45 seconds on Khan. There was a little bit of miscommunication there from T1. Going for the execution onto Sowmaker. I think Faker saw his moment in a split-second decision, goes for the play, and Sowmaker reacts with a stopwatch on the Lissandra ult, so they didn't have enough lockdown to take Sowmaker down. Faker doesn't have TP, so he's really low right now. T1 have absolutely no ultimates to work with other than Kana's, and Damwon have smite, so they're going to walk up and try and contest it. 25 seconds on Khan, and he has TP. Maybe T1 want to turn.
Beryl, sidestep, Ghost still standing strong. Faker could be in trouble. Aftershock is proc, but Gumayusi off on the backside with a 4-shot waiting. Will not give up too easily. T1 now forced away from the Baron as well. Back and forth it goes. T1, 2K lead, but a tense battle overall. Sowmaker fishing, trying to take down Keria, buying more time.
They can counter Baron.
Resets. Yep. Counter Baron after counter Baron, but who will take it in the end?
Khan could TP in, they could look to force this, but Beryl had to base and he had no wards left, so Damwon can't put a vision line to make sure they can turn in time if T1 respond. T1 no TPs left after these plays. Damwon still have both, and Faker finds his moment.
Yeah, he finds a moment here to go straight in. Very quick stopwatch, though, on the ultimate cast, so it can't come through. And then the kick, I just think Kana wasn't actually expecting it, so the ultimate was late. That's the communication you're talking about. The ultimate comes out, only actually catching that clone, and then it's a bloodbath as Kana's in the backline trying to duel against Gumayusi and Keria. He uses his stopwatch as well.
But I have to say, another fight where Ghost really can't do much. Khan's committing to try and buy time for the backline, but Ghost really can't find his way into the fight because there's so much zone control. And even a fight like that, where T1 is kind of under your tier 3 in a way, and they used 2 ultimates on a clone, they still came out on top. So Ghost needs to find his way into these fights. He has these 3 items complete, he has a lot of damage, and Sowmaker just picked up a Zhonya's to negate that ultimate once again from Faker, you expect.
And again, as Ayo called it out earlier, but I think we have to say it again, the Death Dance here is such a crucial buy, because even when Canyon knocked him under the tower, there's no magic damage coming in. Kana was able to live for so long, despite not being a tanky champion by any means, but between a shield bow and a Death Stance, very hard to lock up. Now he's got a stopwatch as well. He can take aggressive ult and try to find aggressive picks.
And Owner's itemization compared to Canyon's is becoming a really big deal here because he has the full GA above Canyon's items. And at that point, you can start to play in a different way as Lee Sin. You can start to be willing to trade out your life for that of a carry. You find the kick flash on Ghost. You are down to die for that if it means that Ghost is going to go down as well.
Yeah, late game team fights are all about time. As much as you can buy, it gives you so much more opportunities the longer the fight goes on. And T1 have an Ocean Soul point in 1 minute 40 seconds. Damwon have single target damage and only an Alistar to face check. So the more they walk up, T1 are going to try to push them back when they're all established in mid lane. So what they're going to do is push out these sides. Kana's going to push bot, Faker's push top. They're going to come back towards mid and stop Damwon from getting into the river.
And you notice it's been Owner's job here to actually keep vision cleared out of this Baron pit, to keep some sort of eyes on that, because they know Damwon could try to go again for a trade, try to take the Baron when they go towards the Soul. So they want to make sure that they have forewarning of this, that they can respond to this if that's going to be the option here from Damwon.
And so far, a wild series. 35 minutes in, still very close. T1 very clearly in control with the Dragon lead, but only 2K separating them. And again, we now have 80 carries and junglers trading all-star performances. Game 1, it was Canyon and Ghost all the time here. Owner and Gumayusi both doing some work here. 6 overall in the kill participation out of 8. Gumayusi, no slouch on the Jhin either.
And you can see Canyon Elixir in inventory. That tells you you're feeling this could be the fight that decides the game.
Owner
and
as well.
Very likely it will be, yeah. Both players trying to maximize their power for this fight, trying to get their buys in, pick up enough pinks, because they know this could decide it.
Yeah, Sowmaker has a pot 2. Faker just finished Rabadons. This next fight will decide the game. 30 seconds on the Ocean Soul. T1 have 2 options. Do we stop Damwon coming into bot side river, or do we just run towards top side, and as they go towards Drake, just trade a Baron for it, right? They have 2 winning plays here that Damwon have to shut down, and the only way they can do it is getting vision and pushing T1 back, but it looks like T1 are standing their ground.
DK grouping as 5, ready to push them back. Keria able to leap back to safety of the team. Damwon Kia, not a ton of engage tools. Have to be careful, have to use their engage very well if they want to come out on top.
Cant is playing great. They're going in!
Wall. Cant now getting picked off, gonna get things kicked off, but Cant managing to leap back out to safety. Damwon Kia peeling back, getting so many cooldowns at the cost of nothing. Cant can recall, come back in with a TP, and we could see another 5v5. Akana leaping through the minions, trying to deny the recall, ready to stop Cant from finding his way back to base.
T1 have to go for Nash now. They can't contest this Dragon. Are they in time to even burst this down with a Jhin and Lissandra? The Yasuo will do a lot of damage, and Damwon realize they're going to beeline towards the Baron. There's 3 ultimates down for T1. They're baiting Keria. Pop the ultimate.
T1 are out of ultimates. They're out of options. It's only Kana's ult left.
They wanted to try to look for the turn. They didn't actually decide to commit to it. So Damwon do come out on top. They do spend the flashes, they do spend the ultis, but they walk away with the Dragon here, and now they are onto the Baron here. They're trying to force T1 into this difficult position.
Yeah, Gumayushi and Keria just base as well, and Damwon have so much damage for this Baron. It looks like they can get this if they want to. Faker has the ultimate up. Kana's going to TP top. T1 have to contest this, but they have no vision. Keria's on the way.
6K. Getting lower and lower. Could all come down to a single Lee Sin. Faker, single smite. Faker over the wall. 16. Owner! It's massive. Faker off to the backside. Keep your eyes on that one. They find the reset. That's going to be one. Frozen Thralls now coming out. Damwon Kia getting routed in the river, but Canyon still standing strong for a moment. No. Double, triple for Gumayushi. Follow-up kill. A smite steal from Owner. The rookies on T1 are making their mark at World. Sowmaker wants to make a play, but not today. Sit down, Sowmaker. This is T1's time.
Owner, the 18-year-old jungler, steals the Baron from Canyon alongside Faker to clean up Damwon. 5 kills to none, and T1 are going to take game 2.
What a way to end it. The confidence from the rookies here. Owner, young players like him being able to get in there, steal the Baron to bring out this Yasuo comp here for T1 for Kana as well. An incredible punch back here from T1. We're all tied up.
And if you cast your mind back to the T1 Gen G series in playoffs, Gen G were the ones who took game 1, and then T1 were the ones who came back in the next 3 games to make it a 3-1. Game 1's not their comfort zone. It looks like game 2 and game 3 is when they start to feel it.
T1 certainly ramping it up, and Lee Sin went from a pick you can't give to a Canyon to a pick you can't give to either jungler. At the end of the day, the coordination from T1, again, rookie line.
Damwon are going to back off. Okay, my heart skipped a beat there for a second because I thought they were both
that would have decided the game potentially.
That was my. We've had slow early games. This was my time to shine, boys. You've been able to talk about meta. I'm like, oh, please, level 1.
But Damwon's level 1 is so much stronger with things like the Lucian, the Maokai, the MF. You can just lock down one target, PTA, and it looks like top lane Brush has been the point of contention for both teams to get some early vision for the lane to get the push. Faker's going to ward their blue buff, so T1 have some information to work with in the early game.
This is so interesting. Are they going to try to invade bot side? They delayed the bases so long, and then they're going to go in, and they're hoping potentially, okay, it's just going to be for the ward, and then they will start on that blue buff.
Yeah, it looks like both junglers will be pathing top. Maybe Canyon wants to be creative here. He has got the sweeper. He must know that something is warded on the map, judging by T1's movement around, so maybe he wants to sweep out his Raptors, or look for some kind of level 2 gank, perhaps, to force out a flash from the Rise or bot lane.
Such good information at level 1 coming out from T1. They have a pretty good idea, or we'll be able to track Canyon shortly, assuming he does appear on some vision. Knowing that he's not starting topside, of course, Jarvan, level 2 ganks or early ganks in general, always something that can be incredibly lethal. Jarvan has been a very feast or famine champion at this tournament. We saw a lot of early prio at the start of the tournament, not a lot of early results, but a champion that when it gets going is incredibly oppressive.
It's also worth noting.
Keria.
Oh, level 1, Exhaust now coming out, firing back. This is what you talked about, weak early lane phase, resilient. Level 1, super underwhelming.
I mean, that was just super disrespectful. He like walked through Beryl to actually throw the bomb on a Ghost. They do have the AD health advantage, but that Q through the minion actually got Keria really low. And he's starting a very defensive setup. So it is going to be Guardian, it is going to be Relic Shield, it is going to be Exhaust, but now no sums and you have Flash on Beryl. You just call Canyon down and it feels like Keria is just dead. And that was a pretty significant misposition.
Yeah, the good news for T1 though is they've had vision on Canyon the whole game. They saw him on Raptors, they just saw him go towards blue, so T1 can afford to step up and push this wave in that's stacking, and they don't have to be scared of getting ganked on it unless Canyon backtracks after Grump and goes towards the bot side of the map. He did just take it, and he's moving towards mid, so fastest level 3 in the game. Red, Raptors into Grump, and now he wants to do something with it. Getting Faker's flash early would be disaster for T1 because they have to cover mid the whole game long. Owner's on red. This is a 1v2. Faker needs to be very careful here.
Going towards the middle of the lane. Flag drag flash could make it happen. That's going to be the stun. Easy follow. Faker now locked down. He can flash out to safety, but the red buff still ticking. Locked up. Does sidestep the Dark Sphere. Auto attack. Finishes the job. Sowmaker finds the kill.
Yeah, it's as simple as that when you're playing Ryze into Syndra Jarvan. They have so much early game setup, and with no vision around mid, Faker doesn't have anywhere to hug. If he has a ward towards bot side, he can hug bot side. If he has a ward towards top side, he can hug top side. But they only really spotted Jarvan going to Gromp, so he should have known this was coming. But he tries to get the cannon and does end up dying. Damwon are going to have so much control through mid right now. Faker will never really be able to push out.
I was expecting him to play towards bot side, because to your point, they did kind of know that he was clearing up towards top and would likely come from that side, but didn't have eyes on Jarvan for a while, and Faker was actually kind of edging towards the top side of the map. So as soon as you get hit and the follow through comes down, you're just going to die. And bad goes to worse because he expended the flash, they got no summoners, and you still died. Plus, the first blood went to Sowmaker, and it is the tier 2 boots bought up immediately with Predator. He did this against Mad, and then basically said it was for fun, but I do not buy it.
Nope. The one man who's not having a lot of fun is Keria here on the bottom side. These early trades, miserable right now for the Jhin and the Zilean. Of course, as we get later in the game, a much stronger pick overall, but these early levels very hard. And yeah, as you highlighted, Sowmaker not buying for lane in this case, buying for the tier 2 Predator boots. That much easier to find the setup. And Canyon waiting in the darkness, really clever pathing here. Faker has to be careful.
He knows there's a pink in river, so he's going to EQ over the wall, waits for his EQ, 4 seconds left on it, then he's going to flash over when Sowmaker hits the stun. Maybe he can just save it here. Faker might be dead if he walks up, but there's no creeps for him to last hit, so there's no reason to walk up. He can just let the wave come into him. Nice creative try there from Canyon to avoid the vision, but will just go end up and clear his second respawn. Canyon has not based yet, and Owner is quite a few camps up.
And I do think this pick about the Predator a little bit. You know, it's obviously weaker for the 1v1, but if you can get the push and move towards sides, if you think that this game is going to be won by punishing sides, by punishing things like the Zilean that we talked about, by punishing things like this Kennen, that it can have a lot of value. And Zilean did just base. Gumayusi is by himself here, and Sowmaker is behind, and this is looking like a dead Jhin.
The rain comes down, stun gonna get flashed away from Owner is in the area. Sowmaker needs to retreat back into his team. Can look for the Maokai knockback to stop the Zinzao engage, but they're in the tower. Canyon on the way in, that's gonna be it. Owner finding a kill right back. Now the flag and drag in, he's gonna finish off Owner. Gumayusi trying to get a few more kills, but can't get anything else as Damwon Kia pull out.
Yeah, Damwon have to be careful. The reason is Kana just based in front of Khan and he had TP. He's gonna use it to lane now, but I think Damwon were maybe calling that there's a TP chance opportunity there. 2 versus 4, going 1 for 1 there for T1. Small win, but Owner lost his double buffs.
Yeah, it was good from Owner, though, being able to actually match this on the play. If Owner's not there, that's a free kill. That's multiple plates. Instead, he does show up just in time, the root onto Sowmaker, and then Beryl has to peel for Sowmaker. That means he's going to pick up Tower Egger, he's going to go down, and it does allow them to defend in this situation. Yes, you lose the double buffs, but you got flashes, you know, off of Canyon, and you went in a pretty good spot.
Sorry, Connor was just about to level up to 6. I thought he was about
to be in trouble. He's going to try to get anything done here. Nope, he's just going to get deleted. Twisted advance forward, will get knocked down. T1 control of the bottom side.
Yeah, kill over to Faker. Maybe they can translate that into a Drake, but look at Canyon. He's been hovering towards his top side. Kana has cleared out the wave for now, but he's going to have to back off because Sowmaker can run top with Predator after having pushed out the wave. Canyon won't be level 6, so Kana will just back off without having to use Flash, and a small cross map coming in from Damwon.
Does always hurt because he's got no TP, so the wave is going to bounce. Then you're in that bit of a different dangerous situation, but Kana now seeing Sowmaker mid will try to push his way back out, checks the brush with the Shuriken, but doesn't see Canyon, has no eyes on him just yet.
Yeah, and the big problem T1 again has is Sowmaker has TP, just you talked about TPs there, Azale. Sowmaker can just push in mid now base, and he can match a play bot if T1 overforce, or he can TP top to make sure the play happens. Kana.
Drag the flash out from Kana, has the ultimate available, waiting for a brief moment to lock it down, but Damwon Kia, easy kill pickup on the top side.
Yeah, Kana knew jungle was top side, and he flashes a little bit to the side there rather than towards his tower, so not much distance gained, and will end up falling. Now the Kennen has no TP, no flash, and is losing lane. Owner's looking for a cross map, but Sowmaker has TP.
Well, how close to 6 is Keria? If Keria gets 6, this dive actually becomes really doable. I'm not sure that they'll actually go for it in the 3v2, knowing that Sowmaker could actually TP to match, but if we could see the experience, it could happen.
Spots Owner, Faker, Flash about to come off a cooldown. For now, they're just pressuring. It looks like at least one tower plate will go over as Gumayusi picks that one up. Split between 3, so not the biggest gold advantage, but small positive as 4 shot with that speed buff comes out.
And it is worth noting that it's actually Keria going for the tier 2nd here. You know, when you're not going to play Spell Thieves on the Zilean, you do need that mana regen. It is such a mana-hungry champion. Oftentimes you can just sit on the tier, though, and then go into your support item. You don't need to actually complete that by any means, but things are going to get problematic on this top side because Canyon already got the kill, they got the flash off of Kana, and now they're going to take Herald and look to try to blow that open.
Yeah, T1 have been sieging this bot tier 1 for at least a minute and a half now, but they can't commit because Sowmaker has TP, so Damwon just cross-map and get themselves a Herald. We talked about Damwon having to win the early game. They've got 3 kills on the top side of the map, one of them on Lucian, one of them on the Syndra. Early boots for Sowmaker to move around the map, TP advantage, and now they've got the Herald too, so I feel like their early game towards the top side is working out pretty perfectly here. And T1 haven't really found much response on the bot side of the map.
Faker holding pressure in mid lane for now. Predator pop by Sowmaker. Looks like just to get a little bit extra movement speed in some of those trades.
So Keria is now 6, and it looks like their response is just going to be to try to take this dragon, but it will put Kana in a very heavily losing situation because he doesn't know, where J4 is. They haven't seen Canyon in a long time. Owner hovering here around mid, but Faker looks to be the target once more.
Faker, sidestep on the stun is big. Canyon would have followed up there. And crucially, while Owner does have a massive individual CS lead, he had not recalled yet, so didn't actually have an advantage in terms of itemization if that had come down to the 2v2.
And looks like they're just going to hand off blue buff and wait for their opportunity with Herald, as Khan now has the top pressure. We saw about 2 or 3 minutes ago, Kana was the one who was able to zone away Khan, but now without Flash, it's really hard to kind of force the Lucian back or threaten any kind of all-in when you're behind like this. And Beryl moving towards the top side. Looks like Damwon might want to just take the Grump there for Canyon and look to Herald this. Keria there to respond, and Faker has TP up soon after he bases now.
And you have to remember, if you're going for one of these aggressive plays, Keria has the ultimate available now, which is going to be so critical to counteract some of these upfront burst cooldowns, things like the Syndra ultimate.
Yeah, both teams are just reading each other's plays so perfectly, all their cross-mapping. So really good decisions coming out from both these teams. If Keria didn't move towards the top side here, Damwon would have cracked open that tier 1, but because they see them there, looks like they're going to go towards mid and try to catch T1 as they rotate down towards the mid lane. Canyon getting some vision for the team.
Waiting over the wall. Faker returning to lane now. Massive wave here. He's going to miss at least a few CS. Maybe just the cannon. Even then, you'll be there in time. Damwon Kia not really feeling confident enough to go for the dive, but on the top side they are. For T1, Owner stepping forward. Wind becomes lightning will be big here. Good sidestep from Khan, though, stopping that play in its tracks. DC is just too much. This man cannot push a single button, but it might not matter because Keria is bringing him back to life. And now T1 are looking for the turn. This is the power of the Zillion. Owner's on the way in. Connor ready to come over the wall. But no, the cannon not going to commit quite yet. Waiting, biding his time. Now the ulti comes out, but is it too late? Predator coming in for Sowmaker. They're going to finish 1 kill, and now Khan is coming in looking for cleanup. Both sides backing away. At the end of the day, just Khan dropping. Ulti connecting. Khan, can he sidestep? Last shot should connect. Owner going to finish the kill.
Nicely done, and Khan coming in on the TP did turn that for Damwon, but you see the power of the Zillion there. The ult used, then the exhaust used after the ult onto Sowmaker, really hampering Showmaker's ability to actually burst down Faker, and it does save Faker. They get a kill back, but still, Damwon are trading back and forth, and they're going to drop the Herald here now with T1 on a reset. We'll see how quickly they can actually get out to mid to try to defend this play.
Yeah, it feels like every play is kind of going in Damwon's favor, whether it's a cross map or a match. T1, yes, you get a 1-for-1, but the Herald's going to come down. And look at this cannon. Faker is ulting on them.
Canyon ready to go in. Excellent, excellent use of the stair now. Come in, Gubushi running for his life. He's ticking, he's burning, not quite enough. He's healing up just in time. Fleet footwork taking him out to safety. Faker sped up as well. They will walk away, but more plates going down in favor of Damwon Kia and so many blinking health bars.
Man, Sowmaker, the Everfrost there was so big. As Faker and Gumayushi arrive, they're both lined up. They get double Everfrost rooted, the flag and drag through 2 from Canyon, and that means not only do they get sums, they get the tower.
Yeah, they thought they could make a pick onto Sowmaker because he has no flash, and without the Syndra ult and the Jarvan ult, maybe Faker thought they don't have enough damage to burst us down and we can get a kill here for free for Damwon overextending. But in the end, Damwon will get the tower. Gumayushi has no summoners.
Walking forward. We'll just trade ult for ult there.
He's got Zillion.
He's
the
got
third
Zillion.
summoner.
That'll save him, but what will save Kana in this top lane? 20 CS down does level up to level 9 though, but no mythic completed. This Lucian is just going to get stronger and stronger.
I mean, for Kana, you got to hope for 5v5, right? You're not going to be winning that 1v1 at all this game until you get to maybe really late stages if he face checks you or something. We've seen those kind of plays happen, but generally it's about the 5v5 here for T1. But at this point, Damwon are extending a pretty significant gold lead. This is what's feeling like the first significant one of the game. It's closing in on that 2K margin. They do have the first dragon for themselves. Wasn't a super early Drake, so we're not obviously worried about Soul at this point, but I do think T1 are going to be wanting to start fighting around these objectives.
Yeah, that's completely right, and that's exactly what happened in game 1. Damwon had an early gold lead, they got the first dragon, they set up around the second dragon, and T1 was forced to contest around the second and third dragon. That's where Damwon escalated the gold lead and snowballed the game towards Barons and closing it out. So T1 have to be very careful if Damwon have set up. Very dangerous to face check the Maokai and the Syndra. They'll have so much vision control with the saplings.
You can see again why they've gone for the Maokai even outside of the contract for Leona. There is so much of that vision control that you highlighted. Damwon Kia now setting up for the Herald. T1, a lot of members in the area. Kana coming down does have ulti available, but have to see if T1 really want to contest for this. It's a high-risk scenario. You get a lot of value out of that cannon ult. It's an easy fight, but a lot of potential burst damage that could come through. Keria's ulti not quite off cooldown yet.
Kana has the blast cone, so he can go into the pit and he won't be spotted, so he can hide around the wall here. Damwon won't spot him just yet, so if Damwon overcommit, they know there's a cannon. They will spot him out now, and now the Herald's reset at T1. are stacked up.
Flash in, that's gonna be the Jarvan ult kicking things off, and Jin just locked in the pit, but now the ulti coming in from the MF. Bullet time looking good. Gumayusi now running for his life. Kana does everything, but Kana with the instant turn, locking down so many members. T1 just like that. That's their skirmishing power, but Sowmaker still standing. Ghost, Canyon, Beryl still alive. At the end of the day, DK still holding on. It's a bloodbath, but nobody's that any closer to getting the Herald knocked down. Damwon Kia standing strong here. Owner sped up, ready to dive in if he needs to. Sowmaker low mana. It's blinking. Back and forth, T1, they've lost the stare down, they will back away and concede the Herald to Damwon Kia.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Kana found a massive engage there. Ghost didn't have exhaust to shut the cannon down, and that's what saved the fight for T1. It looked disastrous because as they pushed Damwon away, Damwon realized T1 was overstacked. They engaged with Canyon flashing forwards. Really good MF to follow up. But T1 have the Zillion, and T1 have the Xin Zhao ultimate to negate all the damage. So it looked bad, but it wasn't as bad when you zoom in.
But it is a nice punish because Gumayusi, they knew he had no flash because of that Realm War play mid lane. So they go in immediately for him. Maokai ultimate, J4 ultimate, MF ultimate, all coming over top. Makes it very difficult for T1 to turn. And then in comes Kana once that expires.
Yeah, Sowmaker just melts straight through Kana and T1. The only real way they can contest this is if Owner hits a W, Wind becomes lightning, and then he can dash in and maybe find a single target, because that's what T1's comp does when the cannon dies.
But you can see the Damwon maybe have to respect the cannon as we get later in the game. The only reason that really worked out so well for them is because the cannon is behind. He is not wildly far ahead. That ult could have killed if they're in late game and Khan leaps in like that. It will cost him his life every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ghost, though, didn't have his exhaust for that fight, as K-Trell pointed out. And Owner, oh, you looking dead.
Locked down, Sowmaker walking in, healing, holding on for now. Carrier coming in over the wall, has used the ultimate. They have to wait this one out. The lock up there, the TP in from Faker. They've taken down Beryl, the revive coming through just in time.
Man, Carrier has been so clutch with these revives, getting so much value already in this game. And I do think that Zillion is a little bit of a ticking time bomb. It's very difficult to deal with this. I mean, Damwon have been playing out the zone control so well, utilizing the Maokai, utilizing the J4 and the MF. But the longer the game goes, the shorter those cooldowns get for Zillion, and the tougher it is to actually punch through.
What is it with Tense T1 series and support picks? MF Siren, now things like Zillion and Maokai coming through, saving the day, and T1 adapting so well with the pick. We'll see if they can net them this win here, because Damwon still has control. Canyon has no flash. Owner doesn't either.
Forced to EQ out to safety, looking for the collapse. Can't afford to overextend here, but all of T1 ready to collapse. Jin with the ultimate coming in as well. And T1, if they can get started, they can scale up in these fights. The cannon's so powerful. We may see a similar situation to last game where it comes down to a very tense Baron take and a single AoE ult, really deciding the game.
Yeah, it feels like Zillion's just slowing the pace of the game down. It's just slowing down the kills for Damwon to snowball the game. It's almost like the ship is slowly sinking, but you're just patching the holes with the Zillion ult. So T1, yes, you're stopping these kills from happening, and you're kind of trading one for one, but you're going down in the trades. The only good news for them is their scaling is good. The problem is Damwon have 2 dragons. It's Cloud Soul once again, similar to game 1, and they still have control of the map.
I also really like the build adaptation here from Beryl. The first time he actually played, as we'll see if Faker can get away, everyone going towards tops. The first time he played this, he went Deadman's as his first item. This time it is actually going to be more about the poke. It's going to be more about utilizing space and staying away from T1, keeping them at arm's length. So instead, he swaps up the item build here. I think it's really, really intelligent.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you just look at the map state, similar to every single game so far. Cross maps coming in, instant response from both teams. Beautiful League of Legends coming out, trades-offs of the Tier 1 once again. And both these teams have just been reading the map so well, whether to match plays or to cross map and trade. T1 have to push in mid though, so they kind of have 2 lanes to play on, and they can start hitting this mid Tier 1. But Khan has TP, and so does Sowmaker, who's basing right now.
And again, I think the Zillion can't be highlighted enough. Gumayusi playing so far forward. Damwon Kia, lots of members in that area. Maybe felt like they could go for a pick, but Carry is waiting right over the wall, hovering between mid and bot, ready to come in with that ultimate and deny that kill from coming through. This is such a nuisance for Damwon to deal with.
It's such a frustrating pick because it really does change the way you play. You know, with these kind of styles of compositions that Damwon is running, it's just
cooldown. Carrier coming in over the wall. Khan could be in trouble. The flash forward. Sowmaker now been locked up.
He's got no flash.
The root going in. Kana no ultimate though. Will get burned down. Sowmaker going golden, but they should be able to finish up the kill here. That's the root. That's the lockup. Damwon Kia backing away. It's a 1-for-1. Top for mid.
Kana getting a little bit excited there when he sees Sowmaker with no flash and locked up from Faker. He commits his flash as well and ends up trading a 1-for-1. He has TP in a minute's time for when this dragon spawns, and T1 have some control of the bot side of the map.
That to me felt like nerves. You don't need to actually commit your flash there. You can wait for the Zillion to come through. They're trying to hunt for Ghost. We'll see if they can find him, but yeah, could have played it slowly, waited for Carrier to have the ulti there to save you, and spending your flash as Kennen is so expensive.
Ghost in no man's land. The Baron being
Damwon's here.
used against him. Canyon in the area. Owner is going to cost him too much. Faker off to the backside, doing so much damage with Canyon there as well. TB now coming in. Beryl running for his life. Faker ticking, blinking, but that health bar doesn't hit 0. He will not come back. Khan trying to time it, but gets it just a little bit off. Khan waiting off to the side, but he has no ultimate. Gumayushi, Gale force forward to find the kill. T1 prior access to the Baron or the Drake. Their
Kana
choice.
TP behind him.
But they want a little bit more action. Kana stepping forward. Predator coming in from Sowmaker. He's zooming forward. If he hits Gumayushi with a full combo, he's going to be in trouble. There's no ultimate there to stop him. But Khan getting locked up. Khan, can he make it out of this one? The snare is there. Kana finishes the fight. T1 taking absolute control in these skirmishes. And now Sowmaker, he's going to be in trouble. The knockback comes in. It's clutch. Owner running for the hills, but T1 getting everything they want.
Yeah, they pushed Damwon back and they herd them like sheep. They chased them down and get all of their summoners almost, other than Canyon. They won't be able to translate it into a Baron, but such good mechanical plays coming in from each individual from both sides to keep this fight so prolonged.
Absolutely, but I think you can see a little bit of nerves there too. The play from Khan on the bot side, Khan going early on the Zillion ult. That's a 450 gold shutdown that you could have had on Faker, but he didn't wait out the ultimate, and instead Faker survives. Damwon have to run tails between their legs here, as it's just a great one to start it up in the Axe-Fek replay.
Yeah, they spot out Ghost. Keria does manage to see him. This all comes from just a Dragon contest and setup. Ghost is isolated, and Keria just pops the bomb onto the Baron, right? So Ghost is tanking it. He has to get out of the pit. Owner saves his E for when Ghost flashes away. And then, like you talked about, Azael, the ult comes out onto Faker, and Canyon leaves him on 1 HP thinking, okay, we'll let it reset. Damage comes in from the sapling, and it procs the ultimate.
Oh, I thought it was the Khan W. It was the sapling there.
Yeah, Kana was around the back. Khan tries to dodge away, but in the end, T1 was able to chase him down.
Yeah, that is huge. Being able to actually get the reset, to be able to get that revive, not go down, not lose that bounty. T1 now in a gold lead here. And this Zillion, I just think, is taking over the game. It feels like it has been so critical. The move speed, the revives, the Guardian plus exhaust to actually stop a lot of what Damwon is trying to do as far as their burst goes.
Absolutely. And I think when you look at the side for T1, when you've got a Zillion sitting back reviving these members, Damwon feel like the team that has to step forward, that has to shut this pick down. But if you walk forward into the Kennen, you're making Kana's life so easy. Execution going to be name of the game here. Is Gumayushi doing his best at the fast impression? Just zooming around with that Zillion speed up.
And T1 got the Cloud Dragon. So Damwon aren't on 3 dragons. They have the Cloud Dragon. They'll slow down the Soul Point.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to contest this mid push non-stop. Faker doesn't want to go on a side lane. Kana doesn't want to go on a side lane against Khan and Sowmaker with Predator. They don't want to get picked off one by one. You were talking about it, Azael. That was one of the big problems T1 had, was side lanes. They would get caught out a lot. It looks like in this series, they're just grouping up mid. Brutes forcing down mid for tier 1s. Kana sitting on a flank, just ignoring bot waves.
Yeah, I think he's looking to see if someone was going to come face check there, because he does have the damage to actually burst down someone like Khan. But he's also hesitant to show bot because he has no TP. So he's showing bot now, and Damwon will look to make a play top.
CC just barely not connecting. Faker making it out.
Not even close. All timed out.
Playing with fire there a little bit. As we talk about getting caught out on sides, Faker almost dies. Kana is pushing bots with no TP, and we know what Damwon's like around this Baron, especially against Mad Lions in that series. They weren't afraid to just start up a Baron and force a fight if you misstep on the map. Kana being bot with no TP, making sure it's a 5v4.
I mean, if Faker gets caught there, Damwon start Baron, because Kana's bot, no TP, Faker's dead. That would be a massive play, but Faker just barely able to get out here. And this is getting really, really exciting. This next fight is feeling like there's going to be fireworks. Zillion with Cloud Soul, by the way, is like comical levels of fast, where your whole team with a passive move speed. Plus, if T1 get towards Soul, you have Shurelias, you'd have 4 Cloud Souls, so you basically don't have a cooldown on your ultimate anymore at that point.
It's bad news when the Syndra has Predator and she's zooming as fast as she can and the Zin's just running past you. You know, that's not the look that you want here.
They have more horsepower.
I mean, they're not even running. You got Usain Bolt, but he's in a Ferrari, so...
But I think the big thing for Damwon was holding the up as well. So the side lane pressure we expected Damwon to have is not there. The only thing they have is control, but T1's raw team fighting is better with things like the Kennen and the Zillion ult, as we talked about. But Damwon still have got good pick potential, and they have got good wombo combo if it comes together.
And look how high level Gumayushi is at this point. Keria has been putting all his experience into this Jhin. He's higher level than the solo laner as well. Sowmaker just hit 14, but he's 2 levels up on Khan on this Lucian.
I think the reality is it's so hard to get into the backline to even hit Gumayushi without that Jarvan ultimate. You can see Damwon Kia posturing like they want to get something done. Predator popped by Sowmaker. T1 playing with a lot of respect here. Faker on the bottom side. They know they can't fully commit for anything.
I also really like going for the rapid fire third here in this case on Jin, because you can get the Zillion speed up, you move in, you get this one long range shot. If that's a crit, that poke starts to become pretty impactful.
Definitely does. Faker is pushing out bot now. Looks like he will be the side laner for T1. He's the one with TP to join up towards the Baron pit. And they really want to crack open this mid tower, T1, so they can start pushing into Damwon's top side, on the top side of the map, to push them out and get some vision lines to start up Baron and look for turns with things like the cannon.
And we know those cannon flanks are so incredibly crucial to finding winning teamfights. You saw Kana hovering in Fog of War with no mid lane tower down. It gets so much easier once they are able to break that. But for now, Damwon Kia doing an excellent job of holding the line. Sadly, hard for them to play super proactively. Again, level 11 Zillion, relatively low cooldown on that ultimate. But they're going to need to fight for these Drakes. They're going to need to fight for the Baron if it comes to that. Canyon stepping forward here. Kana going to find the lockup and just a little bit of poke, but risky face check just to secure a little bit of priority around this objective.
You talked about scaling Azael in T1's favor. Faker on Rise, level 15 and 3 items. That's a scary opponent to be against. Rise is one thing in the late game, but Faker on Rise is another in a Worlds semi-final in Game 3, which can set the momentum for the rest of the series. T1 starting to test mid-waves as 5. TP coming in from Sowmaker to match. Everyone wants to stop each other getting into River, but T1 have access first. 20 seconds on the Dragon. Gumayusi has so much speed to work with.
Rapid fire, fourth shot, goes in for the poke. They're going to try to look at rinse and repeat. And T1 have the luxury items here. They got stopwatch on top, on jungle, nothing on the side for Damwon. They have the 3 items complete, both mid and bot. The 3 just complete for Sowmaker.
Keria? And Keria now stepping forward, looking for the double bomb. Keria locked up. Where's the ultimate going to go? But for now, Gumayusi untouched. Owner immediately into the back line, buying as much time as possible, but it's 2 quick kills for T1. And here come the curtain call. It's like a rinse and repeat of Game 2. But in the backside, Sowmaker finds 1. Tries to find the snare, tries to find the lock, but Faker turning it back. Faker finding 1 kill. Gonna look for a little bit more. That's a 3-item Rise. Ghost running for the hill, and T1 with confidence taking the fight.
I never thought I'd say this, Dracos, but Keria just engaged on Zillion. The Jin W hit onto Sowmaker, and Keria flashes forwards with the double bomb to find the engage. 4 kills for 1 for T1. Faker with the Rise ult. Insanely good follow-up for Kana, but he gets 1 shot before he can use ultimate, but T1 will get the Baron.
T1 onto the Baron, the next evolution of support here at Worlds. We've seen the Maokai, but it is all about the Zillion. Keria is destroying Damwon. They just don't really know how to play out these fights. They see these people piling in. They don't want to overcommit too much damage. But then if you're not putting enough damage in onto Owner, well, then you can't even finish anyone off. And T1 even get the luxury of waiting for the respawn there for Kana to get 5 Baron buffs. Let's see it one more time.
Look at this. Gumayusi walks up, hits the W, and Keria is engaging on Zillion with a double bomb, and then is ready to react in time to make sure his team is safe. Canyon goes in to negate the engage, but doesn't have enough damage follow-up, so Gumayusi he just sits in the pit all alone.
Obviously, fantastic fight coming through. Love the finish here. Realm Warp across. You can see T1 playing with absolute confidence. Again, rookie lineup showing up like this against a team who so thoroughly thrashed them domestically, putting up this level of performance in Game 3. Fantastic to watch. Of course, don't forget to grab your exclusive Oh My Days.
Ghost is dead! Gumayusi has killed Ghost. 50 seconds on Ghost. They have the mid push. They have Baron buff. Beryl has to use the ultimate to buy time. Owner is on the side.
Yeah, they're looking to try to end here. Owner wants the flank. They're TPing in.
Flashing away, pulling back. All of T1 collapsing. They've got the Baron. They've got everything they need in their hands. Kana with flash up and available, a stopwatch as well. Keria with ultimate. They've got all the tools they need to finish this game. Damwon Kia have to weather the storm, but it's feeling harder and harder.
Level 16 Jin. Gumayusi has so much movement speed to work with. T1 are on the cusp of giving Damwon 2 back-to-back defeats. Even though they came into this series undefeated at Worlds 2021, the siege is coming in from T1. They have Faker's ultimate available. Kana has flash, like you said. Damwon have to be very careful.
No way. T1 do not want to risk anything. They do not want to give anything away. Damwon Kia, how many times did they pull the rabbit out of the hat, found a miracle situation, and found a way back into the game? They did it time and time again against T1 in that finals. T1 in the driver's seat and looking to close this one out.
Yeah, we can see this again, how Ghost went down, and it's the trap into the W there. Catches him out and just bursts him down. I mean, look how fast he is! That's not a human being, that's a car! He just completed the IE on base as well. Ghost is in trouble here because Gumayusi is massive.
Yeah, now T1 still have a little bit of Baron buff to work with. 1 minute left. They got the top tier 2, they got the top tier 3. Now they're looking at the bot tier 2. A lot of standing gold for them on the map, and they want to push this forwards. This Jhin is unstoppable. He has both summoners up very shortly, and he has so much movement speed to work with. Damwon only really have skill shots to lock him down, and he can still flash out of the Jarvan ultimate worst case. If you try to burst him down, he has a Zillion ult right behind him. Gumayusi has every single tool he needs to help T1 win this game.
Gumayusi said he believed that they were the best bot lane in the tournament. This performance between the Zillion and the Jhin certainly looking like it might be the case. Absolute dominance here. Now it all comes down to the footwork. He's got the movement speed. As long as he doesn't get hit, Team 1, or rather DK, don't feel like they have any answers to this champion.
It's so difficult as long as Keria is playing far behind the Jhin. I mean, he's on 4 items. Ghost only has 2 completed. Every time the rapid fire is ready, you get sped up, you walk forward. If you can get 1 auto on any of these squishies, it is dangerous. And T1 are pushing on all sides. Canna, with that speed up, he's trying to threaten as well.
But one mistake from Gumayusi, one overstep, one Syndra stun hitting him could affect T1's teamfighting. If he gets locked down and the Zillion ult has to be used very early, it's dangerous.
Drag locking up 3. That's going to be the MF ult across the entire team. It's massive. The revive now coming through. Owner in the midst of everybody. The Gore Drinker still doing massive, massive work. Sowmaker goes golden, tries to buy a bit more time. Gumayusi, Faker, Keria, can they do it? It's a 4v3, but they're confident to try to turn it. Faker moving forward, but he can't get the damage down. Cant still
Gumayusi!
Gumayusi flash in. Gumayusi 4-shot. Wants to finish the job. Gumayusi can't even win the fight. It's Cant on the backside looking to finish off Faker, but the lockup from downtown will not connect. Captive audience not going to find a home. Now the Realm Warp coming in, trying to take them out to safety. It's a neck fight. Gumayusi will not find the curtain call, and Damwon Kia will live to fight another day.
A great engage there from Damwon. That's what they needed, threatening multiple members. So Keria couldn't get a high value ultimate. Kana actually went down, and Keria only got the self-ulti, which is really not what you're looking for as the support Zillion. It's about bringing up these tough-to-kill carries, so you have to take them down twice, and in this case, Damwon hold on with a brilliant engage.
Yeah, Damwon knew they had to pull the trigger. Canyon does find it. Owner buys a lot of time in the backline, and he's going to buy even more now that he's got a Guardian Angel. The good thing for Damwon, though, is Gumayusi has no flash, so now when he does this again, he will die, but they will have the Zillion ult to back him up. But you can see the damage Gumayusi does in these fights as he flashes away. The turn, he has so much damage to push Damwon back.
And one of the biggest problems is that Keria gets caught in there with him. The Zillion must be far enough backwards. You see Kana goes down, he has to self-ult there. Keria missed his positioning, and Canyon immediately punished.
Yeah, Kana flashed into the Jarvan ultimate wall there, so he couldn't get over, and then it turns into this 3v4 stare down where Faker wants to force it. Gumayusi gets the kill onto Ghost, but then Khan, stopwatch comes out from Faker, and then he does land the root, runs away, pops the ultimate, and brings T1 to safety.
Such a tense game. It felt like the edge of victory there for T1. If they played that one out perfectly, game was absolutely in their hands. Keria getting caught. Canyon seeing his moment, seeing his opportunity. 23 seconds left to the soul. Damwon Kia can get that. Maybe that is their way back into the game. But for now, T1 taking control of the Dragon Pit, taking control of the area. Damwon Kia are going to have to fight their way back in if they want to contest that Drake.
And now Keria has Zhonya, so he has an ability to actually keep himself safe and still save that ultimate for a teammate. And Zillion scaling is just so insane from the support position. You do not need gold, you just need the levels at this point. And T1 are going to be able to grab this dragon for free.
Faker is level 18 on this rise, highest level in the game. Gumayusi, level 17. Look at Damwon. Khan is level 15. If Faker lands any combo on him, he's dead. If Gumayusi gets 2 auto attacks, he is dead. T1 own the map right now. Damwon have to pick and choose their fights very, very carefully if they want to win this game.
Gumayusi now 5 items. He's 100% crit at this point. That is so terrifying with what is a largely really squishy team that Damwon are running.
Yeah, and Damwon Kia, range certainly not in their favor outside of Showmaker's ability to cast Scout of the Week, but with how fast this Jhin is, it feels nigh impossible to land. If it's a slow, extended siege, these rapid fire cannon auto attacks are going to cut through the health bars of Khan, of Ghost, of Showmaker.
Owner
stepping forward. All of Damwon Kia retreating now as Gumayusi is a very fast boy. Again, not a man, but a car.
and T1, they can push them in mid so far and then use the Realm Warp to take all of T1 to Baron.
Drag, lock up onto Faker. He's going to flash him to safety. Canyon now has to retreat, but it's going to cost him his life just for stepping
Owner on the side.
Owner on the flank. Canyon locked up for now. Here comes the curtain call and TP into the mid lane. Canyon trying to flag Dragon way out, but Gumayusi spots it and calls him on it as T1 now advanced on the mid lane. Kana He's gonna get resurrected, but that's the ulti down. What is he doing? He stepped forward, and now he has to go golden. Perfect ult off to the side from Ghost. Owner now getting taken down as well. That's the GA coming out for Owner. Block up there. Sowmaker now has to back off. But Gumayushi is just too damn fast. He's godlike now as T1 move in and look for the end.
You can run, you can hide, but Gumayushi is coming for you, Damwon.
Looks like they're going to go for the top inhib. They have the Realm Warp if they want to go towards the Baron. Sowmaker will go back to base and get his mana back up. T1 don't have a wave to push further in, and Kana is very low. It looks like they won't be able to end the game, but 2 inhibs, and here's the Realm Warp straight to Baron. They're going to pick that one up. T1 look very disjointed in these fights. Kana going in when they've already got a pick, and then Gumayushi has to go back to pop the ultimate. Keria has to use the ult to save Kana. A lot of things were very messy there, losing GA on Owner too. So, Damwon still lose the fight. They lose Baron, and T1, they're going to come for that bot in him.
12K gold lead. Anything less than flawless execution on the side of Damwon Kia in the next fight means the game will end like that.
And this is where you can see that lack of experience from some of the T1 players. I think that's nerves to me. When you see Kana going in so far ahead of the team, you know, they're going for this initial play. Kana arrives, gets the speed up, and it felt like he just decided he was going for it as Gumayushi sniping down Canyon. And this is where you're just going too far forward, right? He gets stunned up. They have to blow the Zilean ultimate immediately. Then he's into the Zhonya's, but he's going to die either way. Owner even loses the GA off of that, and it just really feels like nerves to me.
Definitely overall a very messy fight when you see it back, and that's the thing about the Jhin as well, is that if you make mistakes, if you misposition at all, that movement speed makes it so easy now for him to punish. But that said, Kana, the one who needs to clean it up coming into this final fight. He has the flash, he has the ultimate. There is no exhaust for Ghost. This is his time to shine. He might not even need to if T1 can keep up a nice slow siege, as highlighted earlier. One very fast Jhin with force shot can walk in and out and just take half your health like that.
Yeah, Gumayushi doesn't have the curtain call, but he has so much move speed still. He can just keep walking forwards with the rapid fires and poking Damwon back. This third inhibitor is going to fall. T1 have 3 inhibs down now against Damwon. Backs against the wall. They're pushed into their nexus. Gumayushi.
Big damage. Zoning them all away. Ghost has to go back to the fountain to heal up. Baron empowered cannon minions now raining down on these Nexus towers, but Damwon Kia still stepping forward, still ready. They know this is going to be their final fight. Gumayushi playing with absolutely no fear, but if he gets caught, if he gets hit by anything, he could get taken down. Beryl trying to zone, trying to find an opportunity. Owner, ulti now comes out. He heals so much. The power of the Gore Drinker. Ulti coming from that doesn't do anything in the face of the Xin Zhao ultimate, and now Kana leaping in. He smells blood in the water. That's the double kill. That will be match point for T1 against Damwon Kia.
Kana made no mistake about that one, finding the ulti on multiple members. T1 eviscerate Damwon in their base. They move to match point. And again, off of these brilliant picks, the Zilean, to me, was really the story of this game. It created so many problems for Damwon. They just didn't have the answers. They didn't have enough DPS to actually play these fights slowly with Owner, with Kana flying in on you, unless they were committing all their damage to one target. And as soon as they committed all the damage to one target, well, Zilean's there to ult you right back up. They just didn't have an answer.
And gentlemen, Damwon have won every single best of 5 they've been in if they won the first game of the best of 5. Now they're down match point against T1. Who'd have thought? People said Damwon was going to 3-0 them, but T1's flexibility in these drafts, Vedia said it on the desk, draft is so important in this series, and T1 are adapting fantastically.
Absolutely. And this is already more games than Damwon has lost in the LCK across their last 3 championship runs. They were 15-1. They had only lost one.
Immediately gets interrupted. Gale Force through will not be enough, and Ghost's going to grab the kill.
Damwon off to a good early game start here. They have the Herald. They're going to get the Dragon once again. Neutral objectives always going in Damwon's favor, it feels like, this series. And again, we talked about it. Immobile Mage into LeBlanc, into Rakan, into Kiana. Have to play so safe. Faker dying twice now. Gumayushi was winning out in the isolated bot 1v1. Gets TP'd on and dies. And now all of this winning lane in bot that you once had that's kept T1 with push in top because Keria can move there has now faded away.
And part of the difficulty is that because Damwon actually took the Herald early, Keria hasn't been able to lane. They haven't been able to utilize that 2v2 advantage. He's been trying to match these plays, and Faker could be in trouble.
And if the man just connect, Faker could be in trouble, but he's still, there's just too much CC. It's a pile-in. Faker instantly taken down. Owner on the way in. Damwon Kia, a lot of members standing under this tower, but still, Jace in the meantime is getting a lot of advantages on the top side, taking down plates, but Damwon Kia might just break the first tower of the game. It's a bit of a race here, multiple members in the mid lane, but that last plate's so strong when there's so many members in the area, and T1 will be able to grab the first tower of the game. Kana just barely finishing that one off.
Yeah, you can see the gold there. Kana's up 1.3k gold, whereas Faker is down almost 2k gold in the mid lane, and there's really not much he can do. The only thing that can happen is Owner and Keria can play to protect Faker in the mid lane, but Damwon are always the ones to find options to play aggressive in the mid jungle and support 3v3.
And this is why it's feeling so much more like Game 1, where Damwon was the one that was the aggressive team. T1 was having to be on the back foot, having to actually respond to these plays from Damwon, and just were unable to do it. They're so good when they're dictating the pace of the game, when they're choosing these plays. The trap triggers the W, nails the root, the TP comes through, and there's just really no way out of this one for him.
Yeah, great early game map plays coming in here for Damwon, and feels like Damwon can kind of do this on every wave in mid lane, and you have to think back to previous games that T1 played with the creativity in draft. When they give over things like LeBlanc, they're ready to match with Lissandra, but this early rotation rise allows now Damwon to counter-pick mid lane, have a setup jungler, and control the early game. But for now, it looks like T1 are there to contest. 3 minutes on the next dragon. Herald spawning once again soon.
And you can see that Damwon just look like a very different team when they have this much agency, this many champions who can get fights started on their own. The Rakan, the Qiyana, the Gragas. But T1 looking to collapse, looking to punish. Gumayushi still strong, all things considered, in the 1v1 matchup. Ghost, Ninja Tabby, not Ninja Tabby, sorry, Plated Steel Caps.
No, you got it right the first time.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm old school that way. I'm holding on to that one. Owner going to body block the shots, though, and T1, good use of their man advantage on the bottom side, getting a lot of pressure down. It's Kana who's going to need to survive, rather, on the top side. So you have Canyon and Khan in the area.
The minimap just tells the story of the draft and of the game, right? 2 towers down on side lanes for T1 with winning sides, and mid lane tower about to fall for Damwon. It just shows both win conditions perfectly on how the map plays out for both these teams. Damwon going to get the next Herald, so 3 neutral objectives in their pocket now. Sowmaker will dash away from Owner.
I'm really concerned about how they're going to keep Faker relevant in this game. I mean, he's just so far behind at this point. He's not going to be a threat whatsoever. You know, he is building the utility with the Merc Treads, and now they got to catch.
Oh, Owner going to make it out to safety, but Sowmaker's getting scarier and scarier. Already has the Luden's Echo on top of the Sork Shoes. He is looking to one-shot people in this game.
I mean, Faker's level 9, right? You know, he's the same level as the bot laners. The support's almost catching him at this point, and he is going to be so far off as Everfrost. And really, on Rise, you're looking towards 2 items before you start to become that bigger threat, and that is just so far away.
Looks like T1 will try to salvage the issue by putting Faker on a side lane, giving Gumayushi the mid push to have some mid prio, and let him scale up and farm the side lanes, get back up in XP, keep pushing out sides, and then being relevant by just grouping up with his team to negate Damwon's snowball.
And I think in the same way that Khan playing weak side had to rely on the rest of his team to try to bring him back to the game, now Faker must do the same with the rookie members of this lineup. Again, carry a decent amount of experience. He has a ton of experience, certainly the most veteran player on the stage, but Gumayushi, Owner, Kana, all players who were brought up in the T1 system, all trainees brought up, and yes, they've made it this far in the semifinals, but can they bring it home when Faker's been put so far down?
I want to see how Kana is going to perform in what is a very high-pressure game here. This is match point. You could potentially take down Damwon. You could really see the nerves in the Kennen game last time around. This game, he is the one playing from a big advantage. Faker is way behind. He has got to really rise to the occasion here and show that he can hang with the best of them.
Yeah, and it feels like Sowmaker has been the consistent factor for Damwon all year long, this year especially. You look at their MSI run, he's just blind picking Zoe and carrying games single-handedly. Despite losing that Titan and losing to RNG in that best of 5, their consistent factor was Sowmaker. You know he's a man when he's ahead. He's not going to make mistakes. He's going to close out the game properly, and he can be a voice from ahead to snowball the game.
Playing with fire a little bit there in the mid lane, but I think it's certainly a good call out, Cadril. When you're a 2-0-1 LeBlanc and mid lane tower is already down, it's absolutely full control over this game and over this map. Faker has to be so careful about stepping forward. Canyon can walk up here, but can't afford to overcommit. Owner in the area. Gonna get knocked back there by the Herald as the charge does come through, but they won't be able to grab a second tower on the bottom side.
Yeah, T1 hanging on for now, but the question is, when do you make your move forward? When can you actually get on the map and be proactive? Is it just game 1 all over again, where you're playing Jace Rise and you're sitting back and you're praying for a win condition through sides? Because right now, the gold lead isn't massive, but Damwon are dictating everything. Damwon are going to get this next dragon. They are going to force you to come to them for that 3rd dragon fight, and that's where things are going to get really scary for T1, because the clock is ticking.
And if you are pushing into Fog of War against a LeBlanc, when you have so few reliable lockdown tools to stop her, it is incredibly difficult to play the game. Yes, you can polymorph her. Yes, you can go for the Everfrost if she leaps directly into you, but Sowmaker's not a player that's going to let that happen, and Jarvan is not a champion who provides CC fast enough to stop it.
Yeah, target selection is going to be the aim of the game for T1 here, with their kind of backs against the wall, because they're just getting pushed so far back into their own jungle. Faker's Root, Faker's Everfrost, and Keria's W, the Polymorph. Those are the spells that can really lock down Sowmaker. Anything else can be dodged away from. So they need to make sure that target selection is crisp, as Beryl Does dash away from Owner. Similar to the Lissandra game, we saw Faker shut down Sowmaker in the Dragon fights. The same thing needs to happen this time around, but they have less tools to do it.
Yeah, they have less tools and they have less immediate tools. So even the root from the Rise, needs to be prepped. You have to do the Spell Flux, then the root to actually land that. There's the delay, as you said, on the Jarvan knock-up as well. So we'll see if Carry can find that instant polymorph or something along those lines. Gumayusi is very strong right now. He is ahead. He actually skipped boots to just rush straight to a 2-item power spike here. Does have the Gale Force, has the Essence Reaver, so he's going to crit Lucian. And it's something that scales really, really well now with this style of build and with an Enchanter in your back pocket.
Definitely something we need to keep our eye on, especially as he was the player with the big leads in the laning phase, almost 200 CS to the 159 of Ghost. And Ghost is doing what he can to catch back up in this game, but he is just going to be utility at this moment, whereas Gumayusi has the damage to carry a fight if he's positioned to do so. Always has to be careful and can never afford to get chained here, or things could turn against him so rapidly. He does not have the cleanse, he does not have the QSS. He opted for the exhaust, which will mitigate the damage, but if the CC comes through, Damwon Kia have the follow-up.
And this game is going to play out exactly as the last 3 games have played. Cross maps traded for side lane towers, and then matching towards mid. That's exactly what's going to happen when this next dragon spawns in 3 minutes. Both teams are going to group up mid, and they're going to go aggressive.
Gumayusi, Gale Force is traded back and forth. Canyon in the midst of the entire team. The knockup is there, Wild Growth, but now Gumayusi is overstayed his welcome. Carry needs to move forward to body block. That's going to be the cast. Now Faker knocked back the entire team, and he's just so squishy. That's the lockup coming in from Sowmaker. He's fishing for a few more kills. T1 pulling back in the mid lane. Damwon Kia, the flash forward, the body slam. Carrier gonna get locked up. No, the flash comes out, but Sowmaker still manages to find the kill on a rampage. He will not go out quickly. Now Sowmaker leaping in. Oh, baby, not the next Faker. Sowmaker popping off.
Welcome to the show. 5-0-1. Damwon up against it, and who else but Sowmaker, their star, to push them to a potential game 5 here. He is looking amazing in this game number 4. And T1 went for a proactive play. You could feel the desperation a little bit. They want to make something happen. They want to find a look here. And Gumayusi knows that he's going in with the ultimate. He follows the Gale Force with one of his own. The exhaust comes through on Canyon, but the CC is there for so long.
Yeah, and as you see it in the Axe effect replay, Gumayusi is the one who tries to start the game in a snowballing effect by going aggressive onto Ghost and pushing him back and getting his summoners. The problem is there's no objective there available, even if the play does work out. And who's ready to respond to mistakes and overextensions? It's Sowmaker. He arrives just in time and cleans up, and he's going to solo kill Faker!
Oh, Sowmaker showing up here when it matters most. Game 4, 6-0-1. You just cannot outplay a LeBlanc that is that fed.
Absolutely. And it's just such a battle between these two legendary teams. It's T1, the greatest organization of all time. Faker, the undisputed greatest player of all time, coming up against Damwon, who has been on such an incredible run over these last 2 years, trying to build up their resume, to challenge as one of those greats, as one of those organizations that will never be forgotten. And they're making a great case for themselves.
And now, when you look ahead towards what could be a Game 5, we're not there yet, but it's a 4K lead, and Damwon Kia are in control. Damwon Kia trying to push away the T1 legacy as the most famous, as the most successful organization in the world, and certainly the most successful organization coming out of the LCK to go back to finals, to try to defend their trophy. If they can do that, they become the next name on a list alongside T1. Below them, organizations like Gen.G, formerly Samsung, who have tried to make it, who have found multiple titles. Damwon Kia will be up there with the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and it all comes off the back of Sowmaker. 4,000 gold ahead of Faker as he looks for his one step closer to a 4th world title. 3 levels up as well. Sowmaker dominates the entire map right now. Look at where T1 are standing. No one can walk up on any lane until they see where Sowmaker is. 30 seconds on the next dragon will put Damwon on Mountain Soul Point.
As a stopwatch, has a 10-stack Medjai's. No one can afford to walk alone through Fog of War on the side of T1. Sowmaker going to be able to easily pick up these kills if he sees a single opportunity. So hard now for T1 to find a way to play out of this game. Maybe they can find a pick on someone who isn't Sowmaker. Maybe they can lock down Ghost, but Beryl's in the area, Canyon's in the area. T1 have to be careful. Every decision they make with Sowmaker in the fight is high risk at this point in the game.
And your hope as T1 is to somehow lock down Sowmaker, burst him down, because he is the gold lead for Damwon. If you can somehow eliminate that player, you can maybe make something happen, but is it desperation time here for T1? Are they willing to do something like a risky Baron or some sort of crazy engage and try to flip the game.
Yeah, T1 have to look for some kind of super play right now. They're just so far behind and they don't have the tools to negate the LeBlanc in fights. Forcing Nash or forcing some kind of play is what they have to do, because the longer this game goes, the worse it gets. Sowmaker is only going to get stronger, and they're on Mountain Soul Point now, Damwon. So T1 pushing down mid, haven't found anything.
T1 are so far behind that even looking at that Baron cost them a Dragon and a Tier 2 tower. They only getting further down as Damwon Kia look to bring us to a Game 5.
And T1 didn't even clear out the pit. There's still a ward sitting there, so there was no risk ever for Damwon. You're never going to check into the river when you see T1 isn't starting the Baron. And T1 just didn't clear that out, so Cant pushes for free on bot side, takes the Tier 2. Canyon solos out that Dragon. And the three-man squad here from Damwon just sit mid, pick up the farm, and continue that march towards what looks to be that inevitable 5th game.
Faker clearing out on the side lane, have to grab as much farm as humanly possible. But again, T1 in general just have to grasp at straws, have to look for singular opportunities, have to hope and pray that Damwon overextend or overcommit. In an even fight, there is no way they can come out on top. Maybe if Sowmaker's off on a side lane, but you can see he's focused, he stays grouped with the team. Beryl fishing for an engage. He's gonna go fast, activate the Shirelias, but will not find the engage. T1 holding on, holding their ground, but eventually this Baron will be threatened by Damwon Kia, and they will need to find a way to force a fight.
Yeah, T1's only strong point right now is Gumayusi. He's up a level on Ghost, and we've seen what Ghost does against Lucians in mid lane when they're ahead against Rogue. Hans was able to find the picks to get Rogue back in the game. Can Gumayusi do the same on T1? Has the Lucian, is up in CS, and has a Lulu next to him, Owner.
Locked up, just a bit of poke damage now. She's still stepping forward. Big calling, trying to isolate Ghost. Sowmaker coming in off to the side. That's going to be the Gragas on the backside. Keep your eyes on Cant. Body slam flash is an option. He's going to move in. Faker flashing over the wall, just trying to make it out to safety. But Canyon on the chase. He's going to find the root on the Faker, the stun into the wall. And there is Beryl. The gold lead too big. Damwon Kia dominated the early game. And they're going to remind T1 why they were the favorites coming into this series as they run them down. Sowmaker, though, low on mana, leaping back. Gumayusi, maybe he can get the shutdown. No, holding on for now. Keria and Gumayusi want to get something done, but Ghost will get a bit of revenge. And now Keria has to run for the hills. The body slam flash, the ace coming in for Damwon Kia.
Yeah, Sowmaker's just playing with them at this point, chasing them all down. 5 kills to 0. I think Damwon can turn towards this Baron. Sowmaker has TP. This is an absolute statement game coming in from Damwon. Backs against the wall. Match point down to T1, and they're demolishing them.
It's obliteration here. 5,000 gold lead here for Sowmaker over Faker. Him and Canyon working incredibly well in the early game to punish Faker. Then Beryl getting involved. This squad being so proactive, so aggressive, always pushing their advantages here in this 4th game.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you give agency like LeBlanc and Kiana into Rise to the best jungler in the world and the new modern era mid laner, the best mid laner of the LCK. They just run you over. Sowmaker can just take over in these fights. There's no one who can lock him down, and even when you think you've got him, he pops the stopwatch.
And that's that luxury item we talk about. That 5K gold lead, he's happy to spend about 600 of that into a stopwatch to keep him alive in these plays. This man can play on the edge of madness every single time, keeping those stacks alive and well, keeping those damage numbers high. 3.8K from LeBlanc.
And now he bought a Zonias, just completed the full Zonias off of that. Bad goes to worse when you see that inventory now on Sowmaker. And for T1, you're hoping for the miracle, but realistically, you're planning for Game 5. You're thinking about what you could change. And to me, this series has been defined by proactivity, the teams that can go aggressive, that can dictate plays. And in Game 4, it has been all about Damwon. It was T1 going for this 5th pick Lulu, trying to dominate lane, Beryl circumventing it entirely by moving around the map, and Faker just getting picked on by this aggressive squad.
Sowmaker leaping forward without fear. Easy for him to just threaten with all of these cooldowns as Damwon Kia push in on the top side. Baron empowered minions backing them up as they break down these tier 2s. Cant just ushering a wave in the mid lane, where Faker just tries to get anything back on the side lane. Echoes of Game 1. They're important to remember. T1, they got this far in the series because they've adapted, because they've grown from what they showed us in the past. But that said, Sowmaker a constant threat, stopping them from getting anything else in this game.
Yeah, Damwon playing on 2 lanes here, just pushing T1 back. Sowmaker single-handedly forcing T1 back to their Nexus, which allows the rest of Damwon to push forwards. This top tier 3 is going to fall 30 seconds on the Mountain Dragon, so maybe Damwon want to play it safe after this siege and just beeline towards the Dragon and pick that up. But for now, they're in full control.
Sowmaker now 16 as well. Really low cooldown on that ultimate, and he's going in on Owner.
Big damage, the minion there to body block the chain, though. keeping him alive as the Sigil of Silence cannot be proc, Sigil of Malice rather. Damwon Kia breaking into the mid lane, looking to break down their second inhibitor. Again, slow, controlled victory. They are still on the cusp of losing. They are still 1-2 down. They need to win here to bring it back for Game 5, to bring it back for Silver Scrapes and their shot at the finals.
And Damwon are the ones pushing T1 to Game 5. T1 are not the ones pushing Damwon to Game 5.
Yeah.
And it's all your lives on the line. Everything you've been working for this whole year, everything Faker's been working for the last 5 years is in the next game, because this one all but feels done.
And a lot of people were saying this one wasn't going to go to 5 games. They thought Damwon would be the one stomping it, but it was Damwon here having to fight back against T1, who had an incredible Game 2, an incredible Game 3 here.
And this is the Damwon we expected coming into this series. Game 1 in this game, just utter domination from start to finish. T1 in their wins, just weathering objectives, having better drafts, having better late game scaling, and then just outplaying in team fights with Lockdown and CC. But Damwon, all that's left is the bot push, and T1 are hoping for a miracle.
Holding on, praying. Level 14 now for Faker, only 2 items under his belt, 28 minutes in. It's a Dragon Soul, a Mountain Soul for Damwon Kia. The burst damage will not be enough to kill most of these members. They have to focus, they have to find a single target, and they have to cross their fingers hoping that someone overextends or overcommits, but it's a slow, controlled siege from Damwon Kia. Sowmaker now just showing on vision. T1 have to play carefully here. The calling out just to come down for a little bit of poke. Cant steps in, big damage onto Owner. That's the lockup, curtain call coming in. You have to feel like this is it for T1. They're forced away from the tower. This will be the inhibitor tower falling. Third inhibitor to fall. Kana just barely able to make it out.
And with the supers crashing in mid, crashing in top, the bottom inhib will fall. Damwon closing the noose here, looking to finish up this game.
Leading T1 out, 3 inhibitors down. They can wait, they can take their time, but Sowmaker keeps leaping forward. So much damage onto Carrier. T1, they fought well to bring us to match point, but they'll get knocked down in Game 4. T1 holding on for as long as they can, but they know this one is over. Damwon Kia pushing in, breaking the brace. Sowmaker, legendary, a triple kill to finish, and Damwon Kia will bring us to Game 5.
11-0-3, Sowmaker. He wants to be the face of League of Legends. He is the face of modern LCK era, and he is trying to make his legend here at Worlds. What an incredible game against Faker's Rise, utilizing his signature LeBlanc and just dominating T1.
That game was extremely dominant from Damwon, yes, but I feel like these two teams are just so evenly matched with different strengths, right? Damwon's strength just coming from more flexibility, more draft kind of flexibility in terms of shutting down what Damwon want to do and then utilizing the tools they're given to make sure they win the fights around objectives. Damwon's just well-oiled machines from start to finish, know what their win condition is, and they try their best to execute upon it.
Gentlemen, what a best of 5. We're on the cusp of Game 5. This was the matchup that everyone wanted, and now we get to see these teams face off in a Game 5 as Damwon Kia's dream of back-to-back titles stays alive. Don't go anywhere.
Would you ride for me? Hair shape, one of a kind, homie. I be trying to vibe on the wave. I'm a big vibe on the wave. Look.
Can to come out on top as both sides pop the Corrupting Potion. I do want to cast our eyes down to the bottom side of the map. Last time we saw the Zillion, we talked about the greed. it can fall behind early. It can be picked apart, and it was not picked apart by Damwon Kia. But this time around, it's a different matchup. And in this matchup, we don't even need to talk about bot lane anymore. I take it back. They're just going to fight in mid lane 24/7.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where it's blood in the water in mid lane. That draws junglers. If they are trading this aggressively, both of these guys have already used 2 corrupting potion charges, 20 seconds into laning, and Faker's still low, having done so.
Yeah, Damwon leashed on the bot side of the map. Owner solo started, both junglers pathing top side. Ghost has TP, so 3 teleports on the side of Damwon. Gumayusi running the heal for more combat summoners, expecting T1 to have the bot push. Mid and top will be contested.
Absolutely, and T1 trying to play aggressively through that, utilize that range advantage. Get the green gun here on the Aphelios, get the push, and try to harass this Ziggs down, try to punish that champion here at level 1.
Yeah, early game's so important with priorities. We saw Owner getting double crab on the Jarvan prior, and it looks like T1's bot lane have so much push in this lane, poking out Damwon's bot lane. Faker going aggressive onto Sowmaker.
All that's left is biscuits for both mid laners. High stakes trading here in the early game. Neither jungle in the area, so they both continue to do so, but Sowmaker taking the bad end of a lot of these trades. Off the biscuit just to gain a little bit of health. He does get pushed in anymore, but high stakes across every lane. Good news for the side of T1, that early lane phase is paying off. They get level 2 first in the Zillion lane. They're able to keep up that pressure early on, and Aphelios' first guns are just so solid for early laning.
And it feels so critical for Faker to have a good start coming off of that last game. Sowmaker absolutely running over T1 with the LeBlanc, and it's been a back and forth battle between these two. Whoever gets the edge here in Game 5 could be the critical member.
And Kana on Kennen, his most played throughout the entire year. We talked about comfort for Gumayusi. Fake rule gets cancelled there by Canyon. This is comfort for Kana. He can't afford to have a game like Game 3, where yes, T1 won, but his impact was very, very little until the final fight. He needs to make sure he's on point in this 5-game series.
Pressure to do so, and now supported by owners. He moves into the top side. Cant locked up. Cant stunned. Red buff ticking. First blood again to T1 in 4 out of 5 games.
Khan first blooded in what could be his final game here potentially at Worlds. That's got to get the nerves going. We'll see if they can make a play here on the other side, but it's the TP down, it's the flash down, and Owner did not have to expend his.
Yeah, and it's a cannon wave as well, so it looks like Kana can save his TP as well if he wants to. He could run back to that lane pretty happily with his E. Save TP for bot lane. T1's bot lane have so much push and can start forcing Ghost and Beryl back to unlock Keria on the Zillion to move towards topside first, and now you have a TP advantage on top of that to keep them safe. And if Damwon want to push out bot, 1 TP ward behind, that could be a double kill if Kana's level 6. So this early game so good for T1.
Certainly is, and of course for the bottom side, they've opted for the TP for Ghost, and while that can be helpful in skirmishes across the map, it means they don't have an Ignite to pair in this lane. Very low kill pressure onto the Aphelios and the Zillion here. It'll be difficult for them to find anything without more jungle support. You can see Sowmaker poking his head around on the bottom side of the map, giving us a little thumbs up. So they do have solid vision control there to try to mitigate any potential bottom side plays, but for now, T1 400 gold lead sitting pretty comfortably in this early game.
Yeah, Damwon doing a good job though, tracking Canyon. They spotted him down on the Krugs. Then they put a ward on Raptors. They have multiple wards, 3 in fact, across that bottom side river. They've got a pink on top side, trying to keep Khan safe. So they are trying to play with respect to Owner, who got that first blood and is going to have a strong early game.
Yeah, I think the big thing for Damwon in their wins is just they unlock the game through mid. They have so much agency with their mid jungle to push Faker back and keep him under his tower, but for now it feels like they aren't able to force anything out of Faker. They don't have great setup to do so. And once he hits level 6, he should be able to negate ganks pretty easily. Has TP up, will probably use that to get back to the lane, and will scale very, very strong the longer this game goes on.
Exactly, it's all about the setup, as you said. In those previous games, it was about landing a scatter, in comes Canyon, landing a chain, in comes Canyon. And this time around, they don't have that easy setup, and it's Owner circumventing that river ward here, looking for a potential lane gank. How close to 6 is Kana?
Ticking, eyes on the experience bar. Lands the mark, that's 2. Would want 3 for the stun, and already you can see Owner's recall. Looks like that will not be their opportunity, but Khan sweating just a little bit, not entirely certain where the enemy jungler is.
Yeah, Canyon only has a small camp advantage right now. Has base and will come out onto the map. Beryl notoriously runs mid on the first base from bot. He knows Ghost has TP and he can catch a wave for free. So Keria showing in bot here gives Damwon some kind of window in the mid top side right now. With Beryl being around, he can find some kind of engage and help Damwon unlock this top side of the map, which is struggling, especially in top lane as Owner finds Canyon.
And in the area, knowing Sowmaker's right behind him, has the heal as well, but the bubble will not connect. Owner forced to flash out early.
Yeah, good flash. If the slow connects, Sowmaker can flash over the wall and chase him down, pick up his flash, and then flash again. So He knows he needs to flash before any kind of slow or CC comes through.
Especially because they know Beryl is missing and Carry was not in position to actually match the roam. So you have to play with respect to the fact that you would be in a 2v3 situation if you do get caught there. And Damwon, as a result, will take that topside scuttle. They have a little bit of tempo here on the map now, and Owner is going to be pushed back into kind of this defensive posture.
Faker still yet to base, expecting him to TP back towards the mid lane. Ghost saved his TP in case anything kicks off topside. And the difference we saw from all the 4 games and this one now is Ghost has TP. Normally we saw 4v4s up towards the Herald, but Ghost saving it means if Damwon are the ones first to pull the trigger and go towards the top side, Ghost will be able to match a 5v4 numbers advantage.
And on the other side of the table, it's Kana who actually saved his TP. Khan had to TP back. Kana did not invest his. So if T1 play towards bot side, they're the ones with the man advantage. Whereas if Damwon can play towards top side, they will have the extra man.
And cross-mapping is what we've been seeing all series long.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing to keep your eye on as well is that the Zilean has made it through this lane phase relatively unscathed. There has not been room to put a lot of jungle attention down here, and that just means that Damwon Kia, again, are going to have to solve the puzzle of the Zilean, something they struggled with very heavily the last time we saw it come out.
They absolutely did, but I will say they're less all in on one little point of damage. You know, against the Zoe, yes, the sleep can one-shot you, but Zoe doesn't have to commit in the same way that a Syndra has to spend the ultimate and really commit to that. You know, Ziggs, I don't think it's as much of a commitment as that of the MF and the Jarvan when you're just dropping all these ultimates to get a kill. So I think that the Zilean is still going to scale incredibly well, still going to be a big threat, but Damwon have better ways, I feel, to deal with it in this game than they did in the previous.
Yeah, a lot more kind of zone control. They can use the Zoe to kind of pop it before actually engaging or using any big cooldowns like the Unleashed power from Syndra. But here it is. T1 moving towards the top side to contest the Herald. Ghost has TP who just based, so he can match. It's going to be a 5v5 for this Herald. This could be game deciding if one team decides to pull the trigger and commit to a full engage. Kana is split and doesn't have flash for 10 seconds.
Yushi, Master of Felio's perfect guns for a fight like this. Red and White Canyon leaping over the wall, but has been stunned, has been locked up. It looks like Herald will just drop in favor of T1. Damwon Kia, do they want to keep this fight going? That's going to be a sleepy Zen. Debating, non-committal CC, they don't have to overextend for anything. Kerio with level 6 though makes this so hard for them to keep going. For now, T1 just taking the Herald and walking away unscathed.
Yeah, Beryl, if he full commits there, what's the follow-up? Maybe a Ziggs ult could come in, but then Kana's positioning is great and Canyon was a little bit zoned away as the fight started. T1 get the Herald and they get out.
And you have to remember, Faker was on the side there. So if all 5 members of Damwon are piling in towards this slept target, Faker is going to sweep in behind you on the Azir. So good positioning there from T1. Kana in some trouble.
In the area, Beryl leaping through. That's going to be the knockup flashing forward, getting the ult down. But Kana exhausted, will get dropped. Canyon takes the kill.
And it doesn't feel like that was the flash to go for from Kana. And expending that is a pretty big tool to use. The exhaust easily shuts it down from Beryl. They are able to get the kill. And now Kana is going to be set pretty far back on this top side. Not going to have much pressure on the Graves whatsoever for the next couple minutes.
And giving a kill over to Canyon, who now has the Yomus. He's unlocked on the map. What a powerhouse jungler he has been the last 2 years. I think undisputedly the best jungler in the world for the last 2 years. Playing Talon, an assassin jungler that can find his way into fights and solo carry them if he can find the picks. The only trouble is he's up against the Zilean. Keria's Zilean, which was phenomenal in T1's victory in the previous games. And now they're sieging onto this bot tower. Owner has Herald, Faker has TP.
Yushi able to steal away a plate there. Power the chakra when you're so close, your attack speed is so high, he just shreds through it. But Damwon Kia arrive in time to make sure they don't lose anything else. That said, Owner here available on the bottom side, but Beryl and Canyon are a menacing duo if Owner overstays or overextends. With Zilean in the area, the Owner doesn't have to be too scared.
Yeah, and T1 are down to scrap because Faker actually based. He TP'd back towards mid lane on the wave. Did not want to allow Sowmaker to have free push and then move into the river. So T1 do commit the teleport. They want to control river. They want to be able to get back down here and drop the Herald to really make good on their investment on top side.
Yeah, it all started with draft, isn't it? The second we saw the Aphelios locked in, the second we saw Keria Zilean, we knew exactly where T1 would be playing. And even better for them, they got themselves a Herald too. So now all this gold is going to go into Gumiyushi's back pocket. He's been a bit quiet this series other than the Jhin game, who already had Zilean next to him. This time around, a lot more gold funneled into him.
And this is going to be his opportunity to really shine in this kind of high pressure situation here. Stepping forward, trying to grab that last plate, not quite able to do it. It's just one auto, and not sure that you want to walk into the recon for that one.
The debate, though, you have to respect it. And again, getting your comfort pick in a game 5, so excellent to have. But then the expectations on you rise. Gumiyushi needs to make it out of there. He's been sped up. A good slow from the Graviton to stop any potential follow-up from Beryl, but that's the sleep connecting. Rakan ready to kick the fight off. Carry has to debate where the ult's going to go. He has already used it on his carry, but he could still drop in the end. Double bomb, the knockback. Gumiyushi now in trouble. The heal coming out. Tries to fire back with the ultimate, but it will not work. Ghost grabbing the kill.
The satchel so nice there from Ghost. Immediate knockback on Gumiyushi as soon as the revive comes through. through. He cannot get back to the tower. Does go down. And while Faker is pushing mid, he's getting a farm advantage. He did take a plate. It does mean a big kill onto Gumiushi. Both summoners down, Zillion ult down, Zillion exhaust down, and Damwon get the dragon to boot.
Yeah, they're not playing through mid as much anymore now. They're just trying to match lanes and try to find picks. Sowmaker with a massive bubble through the wall to make sure Gumiushi dies. He lost both summoners, but the trade-off is Faker gets some plates and is a little bit ahead in CS. If this bubble connects, Faker would be in trouble.
Sliding out, that's the knockup, but Canyon's in the area. The knockback is there. Beryl now in trouble, but Faker's gonna make it out to safety. Good damage trading back. Beryl flashing a little bit early, but doesn't know where the Xin is, so doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah, I think he was a bit scared there because the wall was pushing him up against the wall on the river too, so he had nowhere to go. Sowmaker's gonna push out the wave and look to base.
We'll have to see now what the next step is here for T1. You know, really kind of just... Another support flash. A lot of flashes down on the T1 side. It does feel like there's a good opportunity here for Damwon to try to punish over these next couple minutes with no flash on Keria, Gumiushi, or Faker, as well as Kana. Those are targets that you can really look to punish, as Canyon is having a great early game here.
Yeah, look at this again. We can see Damwon not even going mid. There's a mid wave, but Sowmaker wants to force something in bot, whether it's a summoner or an ult. They want to make sure Damwon's bot lane can contest the push. Look at that bubble. Even in a minion wave, manages to connect Beryl with the follow-up, and as you said, Azale, the satchel charge from Ghost to push Gumiushi back. If he instantly flashed right now, he would be fine, but he thought he could save it. In the end, ends up using it and dies anyway.
Miscalculates, doesn't account for the satchel there, and Khan now back to this top side. Since Kana has died, he's lost all pressure in this lane. Owner gonna go.
Going forward, Khan using the ultimate to get as far back as he can. Flash back on the same flash forward. Should be an easy kill pickup. Owner can grab that one.
Yeah, quick and easy kill. Khan forced the flash. Owner trades it off. Really good wind becomes lightning through the bush. And Owner in these early games has been fantastic for T1 at getting early kills. Yes, they got the Herald, and he has been dropping neutrals throughout the series. But when it comes to first bloods and forcing on lanes, he's finding his opportunities against the world champions.
And that's Khan just getting a little bit greedy for those plates. Wanted to try to pick up the additional plates. Didn't respect the fact that Owner could be up there, and 2 relatively early deaths, but it hasn't set Khan back much. Really, once you're on the shield bow in this matchup, if you don't just get devastated in the early game, it's so hard for the Kennen to really pressure you in the 1v1 whatsoever. You do need the additional man there to kind of get through the sustain and the tankiness that this Graves has.
This game is so even. 14 minutes in, Dragon spawning in 2 minutes 50 seconds. Herald will be up in around 30 seconds to a minute. Both teams want to look to contest that. Damwon, again, trying to play through mid, trying to find Faker. It's been that story for them the whole series long. And look at the plates that Damwon are accumulating on sides. There was 3 top, 3 bot, but look where Gumiushi is. He's running towards the top side. Canyon.
The wall goes invisible, but right into the hands of Owner, and Carry is going to leap over. Has the blast cone as well.
Faker.
Dash back out to safety. He's going to try to push him back. Canyon just going for some parkour, I guess. Not a lot to be gained there, but doesn't lose anything. In the meantime, Ghost manages to get a tower, so distraction.
Yeah, Faker couldn't actually find the angle. It looked like his soldiers stopped moving as soon as they hit the wall, so they didn't actually reach through into that corridor there to actually block Canyon. So he's able to get out, does put on some pressure. Bot lane tower gets executed by Ghost, and Damwon securing themselves a small lead, which could be equalized by this potential Herald here if Owner can get it and grab a tower of his own.
Yeah, definitely a really risky play there from Canyon, but having no ult means he's just going to run towards the bot side. Kana has no tower behind him, so if Canyon can wrap around here, he could look for him as T1 pressure this top side. They're leveraging Kana's TP here to make sure that they can get this objective, but look at Canyon.
It's going to be big. Engage on the bottom side. Canyon now stepping forward into Kana, not afraid. Despite the 2-level discrepancy, still willing to commit for that one, knowing he has Ghost behind him. Kana backing off, ultimate gone, so his TP pretty useless in the fights to come until that cooldown's back up.
Yeah, and flash gone as well, even more important when it comes to these next fights. T1 are going to get themselves the Herald, expecting it to go towards mid unless they just want to crack open this top tier one.
You got to give a lot of credit to Damwon for being able to actually put this pressure onto Kana to expend those resources. Flash, ulti, those are what makes this champion. And every time it's up, they seem to be able to find an angle to pressure him, to be able to take away that tool. If you're T1 and you have those tools, you're probably thinking, yeah, we could actually fight this dragon as long as we have the setup. Without them, I don't think you even bother trying.
And it gets harder as we get later into the game because they do not have a traditional tank support. All they have is the Xin. It's hard for them to move into Fog of War and place vision. You are against a Zoe, a Talon, a Ziggs, a Bomb, a Talon, a Bubble can come from nowhere and take you out. It's very hard to regain control of a side of the map without pushing out your lanes first.
Absolutely. They also don't really have any hard engage, right? You're just hoping for some sort of a flanking play. You're hoping to be able to chase someone down, utilizing that Zillion speed. But that gets so hard when you are playing from behind. If Damwon grab this Infernal at that third dragon, whoever has setup at the Drake is going to be so advantaged because T1 walking blind into this Damwon comp feels near impossible.
It definitely does. And it looks like Kana's just going to catch the bot wave. 4-man grouped up for T1. Similar to every single game, mid-wave contest, 15 seconds on the Dragon. T1 have two options. Just push this mid-wave and go top and trade gold for the Dragon and fight the third, or push this mid-wave, herald it, and brute force their way into this bot side river. Kana's pushing bot, and he's moving towards T1. Damwon relying on poke to try to push T1 back.
And Kana's actually playing in the jungle. He was trying to hope that he could find Kana on that red buff, trying to path up there. And if he spotted them, he would be able to push him out, maybe even force that ultimate once more.
Bubble.
Now, Canyon off to the side, engaging on Kana. Another ultimate forced out. He will not find an opportunity to use it in a team fight. In the meantime, the Herald has collapsed. Will not be able to break the tower. Canyon going to start soloing the Dragon here. It's a tense battle in the mid lane. No doubt if Damwon Kia fight into T1 that they will lose out, but Damwon Kia are not going to let that happen. Finding these pickoffs on ultimates and key cooldowns, now taking the second Dragon of the game.
Yeah, T1 are grouping up to try and force their way into river, but Sowmaker and Canyon are picking them apart slowly and surely with their abilities to keep them pushed back. They're going to get the Dragon. They're on 2 Dragons now, pushing towards that Mountain Soul point, and T1 wasn't able to cross-map for anything. Faker might get this tower, but he might also be in trouble.
Yeah, they had a ping. He saw the sleep, so he should be able to get out of there no problem. But I mean, it just showcased that mid lane skirmish, showcases the strength of the composition that Damwon had actually drafted for. They have so much range, they have so much poke, and critically, it's non-committal damage that they are actually going for. Because Zilean really wants to play into champions that are hard committed to the play when they use their cooldowns, when they spend their damage. Zoe is not that, and neither is Ziggs, which makes T1's job so important, playing around vision.
Khan, relatively unafraid at this point. 2-level advantage over the Zint. Level 8 carry off to the side. He's going to be there for the utility owner, of course, with the smite. Will take the blue away, but Canyon doing some similar maneuvers on the top side of the map. Despite that, Faker's still sitting pretty comfortably in this lane phase. Sowmaker running out of mana, but no bubbles connected yet, so Faker will be fine for now.
Yeah, the good news for T1 is all 3 outer towers are below 20% HP. You can see it on the minimap. They're all so low, and they should be standing gold for them. The problem is Canyon is absolutely everywhere. First, he's in bot pushing Kana back. Now he's in top, making Faker scared. T1 just have to be very, very careful at face-checking bushes. But for now, it looks like they're going to group up and contest both side of river.
Been this battle for vision just constantly. Beryl moving around, Canyon moving around. And I wonder if we see him go towards something like the Umbral Glaive to play even more heavily for that vision control. Owner now just going to cover Kana, so they will be able to finally get a tower here. You have to think, collect some of that gold. And quietly, T1 is scaling, so that is kind of what you're relying on here on the T1 side. Is yes, it's difficult to engage, but you have Azir, you have Aphelios, and the game state is relatively slow moving.
And Aphelios isn't going Dominus. He's not looking for a 3-item spike. He's looking to hit as hard as he possibly can. Guarantee he's maxing lethality second on the passive stats. Your abilities hit like a truck with this build at 2 items.
And it's a squishy, squishy team over on the other side. They don't have an overwhelming amount of physical damage, so tabbies weren't the name of the game here. It's actually Merc Treads for the solo laners from Damwon, because it's double AP solo laners for T1, which makes that lethality, that makes that collector that much more valuable.
Yeah, for now it's just still mid-wave contests and cross-map trades, as we saw, bot tower for top tower. Now T1 are probably going to focus up towards the top side, and maybe Damwon want to match the play because there's nothing to trade off on the bot side of the map. So Beryl's going to base, move out towards the top side, you expect, and try to place some vision down. Keria similarly doing the same. There's still a pink ward in T1's jungle that could really hurt them if Khan looks for a TP behind. Kana can match though, and still very, very even game. We saw the goal a couple seconds ago, and everyone's basically even.
A lot of pressure builds in these states. You have to imagine whatever team can break down this mid lane tower first will gain access to the jungle, will gain control a little bit more over the mid lane. Neither side budging quite yet, and Baron already up and available. Next Drake in 2 minutes. Teams have a bit of time to farm up and hit those next spikes, but every single bubble could be a death sentence. Every single wall could have a talent on the opposite side. T1 have to play carefully.
And T1 playing this really smart. Owner, he goes bot, he actually covers for Kana to push in to take that tower. Then he goes top, he's covering for Faker to try to push in and collect that tower. T1 are trying to knock down these tier 1s to complete their 2-item power spikes prior to the next dragon. And they're really committing heavily to doing this so they can be at maximum power. It just feels like we're building towards this potentially climactic fight at the 3rd dragon where everyone wants to be ready to go.
Yeah, and all 3 outers are going to fall. T1 are going to pick up that standing gold.
That's
and
huge.
You're completely right. Azale, the next fight will blow the entire game open, but there is a world where Damwon go for Dragon and T1 rush Nash. Azir, Aphelios, this is probably the fastest Nash combo you can get from your carries alone. So T1, if they keep vision towards the top side, side, they can keep threatening this with these two powerhouse late-game champions.
But I think it's so difficult to pull off. If you just leave Canyon or Khan to solo the Dragon bot side, you have Zoe and Ziggs, and you're playing red side. You can poke over the wall into that Baron pit. I think it makes that kind of play really, really difficult for T1.
On top of that, RNG favoring Damwon Kia a little bit. You got extra walls for the Talon, you got extra walls for the Zoe. That much easier to find these picks in the setup, and you can see the map is
Bias
dark.
Rift.
Just a little bit.
And that's the thing. Poke is going to be T1's biggest crutch in these fights, but grouping up and finding massive engages is going to be big for them. They can look to force Baron if they want. Owner can tank it up,
Hunting.
and Kana can get into position. Owner.
Sowmaker, got a little bit. Good damage now coming in. Good ult from Keria. Just in the nick of time. The knockback there on the satchel again, though. Ghost making it work, but Owner still making it out to safety. Canyon wants to come over the wall, but will not overcommit for it.
Again, Damwon just taxing resources prior, and they're coming for this fight.
Faker on the backside of this fight.
Double TP, they're coming from both sides.
Coming in, they're looking to pinch him, they're looking to lock him down. Gumayushi's gonna miss with the ult, that's gonna be big. Canyon off to the side, trying to lock up Kana, trying to get the ult before the fight kicks off. T1 will not find the fight that they're looking for. Damwon Kia retreating so well.
Yeah, double TP invested, and now Damwon are gonna chase him down. The Dragon's up, and just like you highlighted, they can't solo it while Damwon force T1 back. They can't look to trade for Baron, and now T1 find themselves in an awkward situation where they have no TPs, they're losing the third Dragon. Maybe they can push something for down mid.
Khan soloing the objective. Kana off to the side, has the flash, has the ultimate up and available. Look to get things kicked off. Gumayushi very strong at this point in the game, but they cannot find the fight that they're looking for. They cannot threaten the Baron.
Damwon are just playing it out way too well. I mean, they're marking all the options here for T1. They force out the Xin ult, the Xin flash, Keria's ult as well. They mark both sides on the T1 flank, but they're going in.
Going over the wall. Kana off to the backside. Kana instantly with the two-man ultimate Ghost in no man's land, but Gumayushi has already taken down Beryl. The push back now onto Khan. T1, Beryl caught sleeping, and now all of T1 moved to the Baron.
They've got to go for Baron now. This is such a big window for them. 2 members down. Canyon is still alive though, and Faker push low.
Yeah, Canyon's up towards the top side though. He's right behind them. Softwatch comes out. The Zinning ult is used.
Communication. Canyon ready to come over the wall. It's going to tick away in just a second. Faker needs to make a way out. He has to flash out to safety. T1, they're not going to have an opportunity to take the Baron.
Sowmaker's poke pushes him back. Canyon was in a perfect position to pick up multiple kills there. T1 had a small window to go for it, but Sowmaker slams the door and does not allow T1 to go for the Baron.
It's a great play from Sowmaker, but the miscommunication costly there for T1. Not communicating on who's going to use what first. Zillion ult comes through, the Zonius is used, and then Damwon are just waiting it out, so Faker's even forced to flash out as a result. But here it is one more time in the Axe Effect replay.
Kana's positioning almost won T1 the entire series. He managed to get onto 3 people, force out summoners, and instantly popped Beryl. And from there, T1 was able to dissect the rest of the fight. TP coming in from Khan, gets shut down. Flash was used as well, but it's Sowmaker's poke that makes sure Faker can't get to that Baron pit.
Yeah, and in that live, we saw Kana actually forced out there, almost went down to Canyon, but the sleep landing, and again, it's just playing red side of the map when you have poke, makes it so hard for a blue side team to actually play towards Baron.
Especially with the mountain map, as Dracos was talking about 3 minutes on the Dragon. T1 have 3 minutes to control the top side, 3 minutes to push Damwon back or look for a Baron start, control the bot side river, and look for Sowmaker who has no flash.
I mean, if T1 are not first to the Dragon for this climactic fight for Soul Point, they just can't enter. They have to be there first. They have to be controlling vision and fighting as Damwon try to poke in, much like this. Because if you show up second, you will always get poked out. You will always have your cooldowns really taxed by Damwon.
But right now, mid lane tower has not broken yet. T1 holding onto that one strong. It is so much easier for T1 to push into Damwon Kia territory. And yes, they are taking a risk with every bubble that comes out of Sowmaker. But for now, T1 holding strong, holding their ground next to this objective, daring Damwon Kia to walk into them, to walk into Fog of War and try and contest this.
These next few minutes might decide who goes to the World Finals. T1 currently have control. Kana has no flash though. Faker trying to force Beryl out of his own jungle. Poke coming in from Sowmaker to try and find some vision. T1 contesting midway. Still 2 minutes on the Dragon.
2 teams chasing history here, and Faker looking like he wants to go in!
But the shuffle will go wide. Instantly, the Ziggs ult to punish. He goes golden this time. The bubble, no. Zoe coming in, not quite hitting the timing appropriately. The bubble now coming out onto Faker, but this time the timing is clutch from the Zillion. They will at least get that ultimate. But Kana waiting in the wings, waiting in the darkness. Talon on the flank, Kennen on the flank. who can find the angle. 1 minute and 46 seconds till the Dragon. No major objectives on the map, but maybe Damwon Kia can break open the mid lane.
Yeah, Damwon have a window now. Cant had no flash. Faker was looking for him, but he has to base now. He hasn't got TP for around 30 seconds, so Damwon will get the mid push, and they can control either side of the river that they choose. It's probably going to be bot side because 1 minute 30 seconds and set up just like you were talking about, Azael, with Zoe means T1 are going to have a very tough time face checking, but Damwon have a lot of tempo and a lot of time to play with now.
And you can feel the pressure they're mounting onto T1 as they look for this engage here. But yes, even though you're sped up by the Azir ultimate is not the strongest engage tool.
Azael, Faker's hungry. It's been 5 years. It's been 4 years since a final and 5 years since a title. He's hungry. He thought he found the pick there, but it almost backfired. And now T1 slowly re-establishing map control as they come out of base.
1 minute till Mountain Soul. Only for Damwon Kia. T1 need to take this away. They need to deny this. The extra stats would be massive in the coming fights, but T1, when they have the setup first, have such an incredibly powerful composition.
And T1 do have the setup in the river first. The question is, can they answer these pushing waves? Oh, you're going to be poked out. And that's shield bow down. That's actually a big deal. He can heal back up off of this wave. But again, every time prior, they're forcing these resources out of T1 with the poke.
Yeah, one bubble could be the end of T1. They have no way out of it. They have no Mikhails, no QSSs, no cleanses. So one bubble hits and Sowmaker finds a target. They're all but dead. Gumayusi needs to lifesteal up on the next wave. There's still 20 seconds left. Owner just gets poked and poked out further and further. He needs to lifesteal as well with his passive. We'll see if T1 can sustain through Sowmaker's relentless assault.
Turret set up in the mid lane. T1 can just march down mid, but Damwon Kia on the flank. Not to be underestimated. Trying to force them to fight into them. Cant, if he can use the cannon ult defensively, it will be so incredibly oppressive. But Damwon Kia don't have to commit to anything yet. They have the Scuttlecraft, they have the vision.
This is it. The Baron starts. Kana has a fantastic position. He's going to get spotted though. T1 are all in the pit.
Lower and lower, 6K. Will they commit for this one? Gumayusi is healed up entirely. Sowmaker off to the side. The bubble will not connect. T1 now retreating. Baron healing back up. T1 not able to find that one, but the mountain has respawned. Teleport on Faker, teleport on Kana. They can come back if they need to. Damwon Kia marching down to the Mountain Soul.
Canyon, the patience coming in. Faker's TPing back. They know they're going towards Dragon. They have to force it, but Faker's a little bit split. Owner's going to find Canyon!
Off to the side. One-shots him! Keria cannot push the ultimate fast enough. That's massive. The jungler now Don Canyon trying to parkour his way out to safety. He's been locked up. Maybe they can take down the jungler. In the meanwhile, Damwon Kia are just pushing in the mid lane. They can turn. They can set their sights instead on the Soul if they want to. They have everything in their court. It will just be a 1-for-1 at the end of the day for T1. But Canyon buying so much time.
With neither jungler available here, are T1 just willing to flip the Baron? There's assist pings onto it. They know they're about to lose Soul here. They lost control of the mid lane. But they don't have anyone to tank up the Baron. I don't think they can get anything. And despite the traded kills, Damwon get the Soul.
Are they starting it? Keria and Gumayusi are hovering around this Baron pit for so long. They have the red and white guns, T1. There's no junglers. This could be a flip of a coin. Everyone's hearts are going to stop when this Baron gets low. T1 needs to make a decision soon. Faker has the ultimate to turn.
Bubble. Connected to Gumayusi. Keria in the area. He has the ultimate. He is going to use it. The resurrection now coming out. Beryl not going to follow up any further. Key cooldown's gone. T1 have to be careful until those are back up and available, but both teams keep anteing up. Both teams keep raising the stakes.
Damwon are just relentless here, and you have to feel that they are closing in on this finals. Sowmaker and Ghost relentless with the poke. Every time T1 tries to get the setup around the Dragons, they deny it with poke, with skill shots landing, pushing T1 back time and time again. And Canyon with the positioning here, making Owner pay for the face check.
Yeah, phenomenal patience from Canyon there, waiting for his moment to strike, and he's just buying so much time for the rest of Damwon. Look at them on the minimap, pushing in mid, getting mid tier 1, getting Dragon, forcing these waves into T1, so their tempo is just falling slower and slower through their hands. T1, I think they're starting up a Baron. They're just going to force it. Damwon have to match the play. Ghost has ultimate soon, and Sowmaker's in position to poke. They're going all in for this.
Such a fast play. Kana has TP available. Graves already TPing first. Kana's going to be a little bit like Canyon off to the side. He's going to leap over the wall, but he has no access to the pit. Canyon's been zoned away. The Baron, it should drop in favor of T1. T1 will secure it. Damwon Kia, can they follow up? Beryl off to the side. Zin's out completely isolated. T1 not looking for a fight. T1 looking to walk away, but Canyon is on the flank. Sowmaker is on the flank. Beryl is coming in, and the Zigzalt is doing big damage. T1, it is fight or die in the final moments, and Sowmaker finds Keria. Faker getting burned down, but Kana, can he turn it back? Kana, can he make it happen? Cannon is not enough. Damwon Kia will not be stopped.
That might be it. They have a top wave. 45 seconds on Faker. This could be the winning team fight that pushes Damwon into the finals and shuts Faker down.
In the make or break moment, Damwon come up massive, acing T1 at the Baron, and they're on the march.
Owner's up in 10 seconds. They're pushing in for the tier 3. Carrier's up in 13. They have a little bit of wave clear, but the carries of T1, there's 20 seconds left. I think Damwon might have it. They might have the game.
They've got the wave. They're pushing in. And here it goes. Damwon Kia looking to break the base. Owner doing what he can to hold on, but he's going to be put to sleep. He's going to be knocked out. He goes gold, and Carrier buying as much base as humanly possible, but the wave is slowly but surely being deleted. Damwon Kia moving in. They are unrelenting in the pressure they put on T1. Gumayusi wants to turn it. It's a big ult. He's going to shut down one. He's going to hold the line for now. T1 will live for another fight.
And you can see the sigh of relief on Carrier's face as Gumayusi and Faker spawn just in time to save the day. Damwon didn't have a wave to play with, but they got one Nexus Tower. That's one massive hint in the armor of T1, and there's only one strike left before they fall, you have to imagine.
What a tense moment here, and T1 just haven't been able to find any purchase in this game whatsoever. So when they zone out Canyon there, they hard commit to the Baron, and they do get it. But with the sleep onto Owner, it's a one-way trip for him. He's never going to get out. And then Damwon, such a good job corralling T1 from multiple angles. The Ziggs all coming through and softening them up. And then in goes Sowmaker.
Yeah, huge props again to Ghost and Sowmaker, keeping T1 there. They knew they wanted the recall, so they just threw abilities into the unknown, and they hit Faker of all people, canceled his recall. Sowmaker takes down Keria, and they were so close to ending the game, and you can see what it means to the Damwon coaching staff.
Smiles on the face of the Damwon coaching staff, smiles on the face of Koma. It might mean him taking down his old comrades, his own team, his old organization in T1, but he will do what it takes to make it to this final.
And it's so tough now for T1. You have these players who have the ability to carry a fight. You've got the level 16 Aphelios, you've got the level 16 Azir, but Damwon will not give you that fight. They have been surgical through this game 5, not stepping a foot wrong. It feels like the whole time, never giving T1 that opportunity to really unleash with these scaling carries.
Yeah, and there's 1 minute 50 seconds until that Elder Dragon. If you give that to a Zoe or a Ziggs, you're dead in one skill hitting. Gumayusi has 3 items completed, building towards that BT, you imagine, or maybe a Guardian Angel of sorts to try and survive through the burst. It's all in Gumayusi's hands. Yes, you're down 3k gold, but you can still fight back versus this Mountain Soul. It's not fight dependent, it's not fight deciding. With a Zillion by your side, with Faker free hitting, T1 can still win the fights if the Cannon can find a miraculous engage. They're still in this. They're down in gold. The problem they have is control has slipped out of their hands, and Damwon own the bot side river.
And if you pull up the minimap, you can actually look at all of the vision down there that Damwon does have. You know, just looking across that bottom side, they have an enormous amount of wards. Khan pushing forward. They're choking T1 out of this game. T1 needs to find some sort of a flank, needs to find some sort of a multi-angle fight, but Damwon are closing the door on every single possibility.
And T1's composition does not have the tools to reliably face check. It is high risk to walk into any bush, to walk into any part of the jungle that you do not know already is safe. We saw it in the previous play when Canyon was able to find that isolated pick on Owner. You see it in Sowmaker in the cleanup plays when T1 try to run and are routed. Khan on the flank, Canyon on the flank.
T1 have to group up, they have to be a team, they have to stay as a death ball, and they have to get Gumayusi and Faker of range to do damage. Sowmaker will be the one to stop them from doing that. It's all about mid-wave contest. 30 seconds on the Dragon. Look at Canyon's positioning. He's waiting for his prey.
Beryl leaping in, leaping out, playing on the edge there. Gumayusi always confident to step forward. On his comfort pick in a game 5, it was the first priority. Will it be enough to bring it home? Canyon off to the side, leaping in. Faker unafraid. As Canyon's forced to retreat. They've spotted the flank out from the town. That's big in the fight to come.
There's so much pressure on T1 here. Every skill shot is a question, and they must have the answer, because if those sleeps land, if these bits of poke land from the Ziggs, that can be the end of your world championship.
Look at top wave. Faker has to clear it out. If he shows there, Damwon might just burst down the Dragon because they know they can TP in. If Faker TPs towards the Dragon Pit, there's a backdoor available unless Faker can clear out this wave. Damwon starting it up. Gumayusi is alone here, but he has to find his way into this fight.
The slow take on the Elder Dragon. T1 have time to work with, but again, a single decision, a single mistake will cost them the game, will cost them their shot at the World Final.
50-50.
TP now coming in. Everything being bet on this smite. Faker goes to sleep. Kana now stepping forward. 3K getting lower. Kana going all the way, trying to lock up the Nick, but who's going to get it? No! In the end, it is Canyon. When it matters most, he will find this fight. Megumi Yushi standing strong on the backside. It does not matter. In the face of the Elder, Damwon Kia will wipe T1 off the map.
They're going to TP top as well. They have the Elder Dragon. They have a wave. They have everything they need to go to the World Finals.
And damn old legends and old legacies. Goodbye, Faker. Goodbye, T1. Hello, Damwon and Sowmaker. They will defend their title in the finals and look to go back to back.
For every question T1 posed, Damwon had an answer. Game 5 was incredible from them, never allowing the Aphelios, the Azir to take effect, never allowing them to find that fight. T1 forced into a no-win situation where they have to hard engage, but they don't have the tools to do it. The new era of the LCK has well and truly arrived, as it is Damwon standing above the rest once more.
T1 fall again in the semis, as they did in 2019. It's gonna have to be 6 years before Faker can try again to get a world title, but they put up a hell of a fight.
And while T1 grew immensely, at the end of the day, it was not enough to stop Damwon from making their way to the finals. And while Faker will have another dance again, this was Khan's last. This is Khan's last. He will move to the final. One last shot at a trophy that he has waited his entire career to lift.
It's such an interesting series here. Back and forth games. The drafts were so impactful across the entire series here. And I do think Damwon did such a good job in crafting their composition about what T1 had to offer. They deny so many hard engage tools, so many comfort tools that T1 normally would have looked for. And it almost felt like they had baited them into taking the Aphelios, baited them into taking this Zillion, when it's the situation where it's non-committal damage from Damwon and it's not going to get a lot of value. Damwon just playing it out so intelligently. And Sowmaker, you gotta love him. This guy is incredible, has the personality, and he is truly a superstar in League of Legends today.
Yeah, you saw Khan screaming their revelation. The emotions are so high after taking down T1, the team he was playing for in 2019, the team he lost in semifinals with. He's the one that knocks them out.
And you have to feel like there is no better way to pass the torch for Korean League of Legends than to have the best team of all time now be surpassed by the current giants of the LCK, a team looking to win their second trophy back-to-back, a nigh unattainable feat in the world of League of Legends.
Damwon has been on this victory march, it feels like. They have been out for blood, playing incredible through groups and quarters, undefeated. T1 pushed them to the brink here today. Not only the first one to take a game, the first to take two, really did make them work for it.
And I think T1, with all these 18-year-olds, this rookie roster, will come back stronger next year. Look at Damwon in 2019 getting knocked out by G2. They come back the next year after having experience, and they are a well-oiled machine. I think we might see a very similar story with this T1 roster next year.
It was so interesting, and I just feel like so much of the series came down to which was the team that had agency in the draft, which was the team that had the go buttons, had the ability to dictate the pace of the game. And it was back and forth who was able to create these advantages. But Damwon in that final game, just such an intelligent comp.
Absolutely. And again, I think so much pressure on T1 that a single mistake could cost them at any moment. But the talent can come out of the darkness, the Zoe out of the darkness, so much non-committal CC as was highlighted. This was one of the hardest comps imaginable to play against in such a tense situation with so many young players where any decision at all can cost you the entire game.
And just such an incredible series from Sowmaker, from Canyon. And you can see Ghost, he's so happy to have won this game. I think he had a great series too, you know, the rise of Ghost once again. After MSI, after struggling alongside Beryl, taking a break and coming back. Khan's last dance, it's all coming together for Damwon. Now they're in the World Finals.
And Ghost fought to find that form. I often take for granted that Damwon Kia are just the best in so many of their individual positions, but Ghost is the guy who did step away, who did struggle, who did come back stronger, who did show up in this series when it mattered on the Jhin, and I think you cannot give him enough credit for that.
I mean, the Jhin was incredible, but also the Ziggs. I mean, they make it look easy because they play with no mistakes.